Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome to a welcome to a Dragon's Dogma 2 stream. I haven't streamed in a little bit, but this stream is actually going to be a little bit of a special one, because we do have some things going on with Dragon's Dogma 2. We're going to be getting some new gameplay footage today, and there's going to be a special Capcom showcase event, and we're going to be walking through all of the previews that have been shown from various different streamers. I want to go through some of them. How are you all doing? Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it a lot, both on YouTube and Twitch. I will be streaming on both platforms at the same time. But yeah, we have a lot to go through with Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm very excited about this game, as you all know. I have already recorded a couple of videos about it that I'll be posting on the channel later this week. But yeah, we're going to be going through all the previews and stuff, because we did see a lot of good stuff, and I want to talk about it. Yeah, the preview is not going to be starting just yet. I believe it starts in an hour and a half or 2 hours. But again, we're going to be going through all the preview stuff, all the gameplay, and talking about it, because there is a lot to go through and I never had the opportunity to do so on the channel. So yeah, we're going to be starting off a little bit before then, and hopefully you guys are here to enjoy some of the hype for Dragon's Dogma 2. Face reveal when? Hey, one of these days. Let me stop the music here for a little bit. So this one is just 11 minutes of raw footage, Dragon's Dogma 2, from IGN. This is one of the previews we're going to be watching. I also want to hear some of the interviews that they have been released, because there is a lot of goodies there. Again, just lots of good content for us to go through here. I'm not going to be playing anything today, but I will be going through a lot of footage.
Dragon's Dogma smile.
Thank you so much for the sub, Ray. Thank you. Let me know if the audio is fine here, if it's too loud or not. So, right off the bat, the Mystic Spear Hand looks absolutely amazing. This is the vocation I'm most excited about. I think I'll be playing one of the new vocations, and out of all the ones they've shown, I think this is the one that I like the most. Sadly, no Mystic Knight. The Mystic Spear Hand kind of takes its place. The game looks so good, just look at this. I was playing Dragon's Dogma 1 earlier today, and the visual contrast between the first one and this one is so good. Oh. Guy gets out of stamina. I also like the moveset of the spear a lot. It's kind of like a glaive, he hits them with both ends of the spear. If you see there on the bottom right, there is a button that is called the Redoubted Bolt, I think is how it's spelled. It's like you can do a vocation skill. Oh no. The classic. Well, like you can perform a special vocation skill for each of the different vocations when you're grabbing someone. And the one for the Mystic Knight, the Mystic Spear Hand, sorry, looks very cool. And just make sure that I can see chats very well. The Sword and Shield vocation I want to try for sure. The fighter looks pretty cool. They seem to have some skills from the Mystic Knight, from what I've seen. Like, they have the skill where you can riposte an attack, and if you counter it, you're able to infuse your weapon with an element. That is something that the Mystic Knight could do before. But I guess that kind of kills the notion of there being a chance of getting the Mystic Knight added as DLC. So yeah, they're grabbing onto the Cyclops, bringing it down. That thing, the magic cut, looks very cool. He just dies there. And the game looks so good. Oh, he wasn't dead, okay. You also get a ranged attack with the Mystic Spear Hand, which is another very useful thing. Right, having a melee weapon that can also play at range. I mean, the combos look very cool. I also saw that the Mystic Spear Hand does have some support utilities, like being able to place a ward to help the allies, give them a little bit of a defense utility. Okay, and this is just sick. The mobility you have with this vocation looks awesome. Hello everyone, I am curious how much content this game is gonna have. No, this will not be a live service game, it's a single player game. However, just like with Dragon's Dogma 1, you're kind of incentivized to do multiple playthroughs and try out the different vocations and whatnot, see some different things. And it's also going to be an open world game, so you're likely going to be playing it a lot, but no live service. It's a single player game with likely no microtransactions. Though one thing I do want to touch on is there might be some microtransactions. The collector's edition does come with some in-game things, with some in-game items, so I do want to also go over that. But yeah, don't expect it to be a live service game. I just noticed that that's the actual griffin nest that they're fighting in. Yeah, it has a huge map. I've actually gotten a chance to see Is the stream good? Is everything alright? I just want to double check, because OBS was acting up for a second there. But yeah, I did get a chance to see the map, and it is huge. There's going to be many more interesting locations this time around, because the map of the first game didn't look all that amazing with hidden spots. This one looks to be a lot more filled up. The loss gauge. What did that say? When you take damage, not only is your remaining health reduced, but the maximum health you can recover is reduced. Interesting. The loss gauge represents this temporary reduction, and is likely to accumulate if you do not rest between battles. Oh, I see. You can use curative magics or items to recover that. That's very interesting. I guess they're really trying to focus on you being able to just take more breaks, go to the campsites. Again, just making the game feel much more aggressive and oppressive. Because Dragon's Dogma 2 is really the full realization of what they wanted to accomplish with the first one, but never got around to doing it. And here we are in nighttime. This location looks sick. And down goes the griffin. Time to do some big damage, and there it goes. Easy peasy. Level 22. I'm also very curious to see how the leveling is in this game. Ooh, now we have some Magic Archer gameplay. This was the vocation that I played the most on the original game. I absolutely love it. And he just gets stomped right away. And now he's gliding the griffin. The map looks beautiful. This game looks fantastic. I wonder if you're going to be able to... You can see like a zip line here. I wonder if you're gonna be able to ride it. That would be cool. The class that I'm most looking forward to is the Mystic Spearhand. That's probably what I'm going with first. Out of all the vocations that I've seen, that's the one that I'm most hyped about. Because I want to go in with a new one from the start. I don't want to go in with Mystic Archer or the Warrior. Because I already have a ton of experience with them from the first game. Although the Wayfarer, or the Warfarer, sorry, looks amazing. Being able to use the skills of all the vocations, that's really cool. Just so cool. The Flame Fang arrow. If I'm not mistaken, that's the skill that you can aim with your arrow and you can actually control the arrow manually. But I guess if you're using it at close range, you can kind of just tap the skill. Yep, stamina management is an important thing in this game. The player doesn't pay much attention to that, that's fine. Yeah, this is gameplay from the PS5, yes. According to the developers, the game will have uncapped frame rates. So on PC, you should be able to hit that 60 frames, potentially even higher. But on PS5, it's looking like it's gonna be 30. And sometimes, maybe in towns, you'll be able to hit 60 FPS. But the developers have commented on it and just said that it's 30 FPS, but uncapped. Ooh, that's a cave. Okay. What monster was that? Oh shit! What is that? Is that an ogre? Oh, that's a minotaur. These guys look very strong. I see that the character does have the ricochet with the bow, so you can do a lot of damage here. No, this is not my footage. This is some of the previews that we're watching right now. I haven't had the chance to play it yet. I've been told I may get my copy soon. I won't say more. But right now I'm just looking at the previews. I've been able to look at the full map of the game, but I also cannot show it to you guys here. Hey Arn, welcome to the stream, dude. How's it going? Alright, that was some good gameplay. That was mostly the Mystic Knight and the Magic Archer. I do want to see some of these previews. So I do have some previews here that I do want to take a look at. So we're going to be going through all of them. Because I do want to hear what people are saying about it. Because that's also very important, not just the gameplay, right? Because there were a bunch of interviews as well where they discussed a lot of it. And not all of it was included in some news reports and such, and I want to go through all of them. Hope you get an early copy. So do I. Thank you. So do I. But yeah, let me put on... Let's hear what IGN has to say about this. These are IGN's first impressions. I'm also going to be taking some notes here because I will be making videos on
I
this.
have Dark Arisen in my Steam library and a paltry 70 minutes of game time that is likely going to increase in the coming weeks. But while I may be inexperienced compared to those already aware of Dogma's greatness, I can safely say that my preview session broke my hype meter. I cannot wait to play more.
Same. Oh, it's Destin Legary. I like this guy a lot, actually. I know a lot of people don't like IGN, but Destin Legary, I've only heard pretty much good takes from him. He used to have a podcast on IGN where he talked about Destiny and he was often very critical of the game. So, I honestly think that he has a lot of good things to say.
A random save that started me in the middle of a town.
Dude, that town looks amazing. That is just... I know we just started.
With the Mystic Spear.
Also, something very cool about the towns in Dragon's Dogma 2, sorry, I will be pausing a lot, is that these towns are not separated by loading screens like in the first game. So there is a chance that you might be able to be invaded by monsters in the town. And there's another detail that they have revealed. So apparently you can actually kill NPCs and they will not revive. In Dragon's Dogma 1, if you killed off an NPC, they would come back into the game after a couple of days. Here they don't revive right away, you need to use a wake stone on them for them to come back. So, you know, there's a potential for you to be invaded here in the town and you need to use it to save someone.
That was the beauty of this demo. Dragon's Dogma 2 organically gave me plenty of options for what to do next, and there's no wrong answer when it comes to how you want to play this game. I was almost immediately greeted by a traveler asking me to find their orb, because if it wasn't found, his master could have him killed.
That jewel was my last hope.
Morris, a shopkeeper,
oh yeah, we get the second race here.
Had gone missing, and a villager informed me that he was dragged off by wolves. When I started talking to people in town, I met folks who told me about a town that was overrun with fell beasts. All of these options were there to pursue in addition to the main storyline. Yeah, none of these are even the main quest. And while I was probably supposed to do the main quest,
and we get the ox cart quests again. We're gonna be getting some escort quests for sure.
Next town to see what else I could discover. Dragon's Dogma 2 really clicked with me because you need to constantly be on your toes. There are moments of downtime where you can just enjoy the vista or pose.
Dude, the map looks... look at that.
There are moments...
You can see the entire city in there. You could kind of see Grand Soren in certain locations in the first one, but you could barely spot it. But here you can see it in so much detail. And this is being compressed on YouTube and off the capture card on top. Like if you are playing this, it will look amazing.
With a random ogre you've defeated. Wait, he's not dead. But more often than not, I was organically finding combat encounters and
that's the ogres
that I wanted to investigate more. And
well, let me see that.
Finding combat encounters and secrets.
Seeker's token. There are 240 of these tokens scattered across the land, hidden in all sorts of out-of-the-way and unexpected places. Bring them to a guild hall and you will receive special rewards now and then as your collection progresses. Okay, we got some collectibles to trade in. Okay, that's fair.
That I wanted to investigate more. And that amazing loop was consistent.
Speedrun all the NPCs dead, yep.
Over the course of 80 minutes, I fought a griffin that flew me into the air and dropped me to my death.
Dead.
I discovered the untimely fate of Raj was affected by the fact that I decided to run off exploring the wilderness.
How unfortunate.
A completely different outcome than what Mitchell encountered during his IGN first playthrough a couple months ago. I took on an ogre that was protecting...
That's interesting, we're gonna be getting different outcomes on the quests. It doesn't happen often in Dragon's Dogma 1, so I want to see how they iterate upon that in the second one. There's very few things that actually change in the game before.
Treasure chest, my pawn.
I want to see that in action.
Yeah, he sat on me. I turned down new pawns that I had met who wanted to become a part of my crew. I was ambushed by a group of bandits making camp, and all of this happened organically while I just explored this small sliver of a massive map. Even though I was probably supposed to do that main quest.
Okay, let me
Dragon's
take a look at that.
massive map happened organically while I just explored this
Yep.
small
This is kind of what I've seen before.
sliver of a
I was able to see just a little bit more.
massive map. Even though
But yeah, the
I was
map's going to be
probably supposed
huge.
to do that main quest, Dragon's
Oh yeah,
Dogma
we're
2 has
definitely
just
going to
provided
be
me
getting a
with
video on how to get all of
that I didn't
those
want to walk
medals.
away from while wandering around accomplishing nothing related to the main quest at all.
Of course, the best thing about Dragon's Dogma, you go around exploring, you kill shit, you get to feel like a badass. The problem with the first game is that you weren't very incentivized to explore the map, because a lot of times you would go to a dungeon and the entrance would be closed. You can think of the water temple, or I think that's how it's called, that you find very early on. You can't actually explore it. If you go to the place where you fight the griffin, there's nothing there. I hope that's not the case in the second one. I hope that you do actually get the chance to explore it and get some cool stuff, even if it is a location that you come back to in the main story. But get grabbed by the griffin and get fucked.
Here's one example. I had a fight with this griffin earlier.
4 times as big as Dragon's
Now,
Dogma
while trying
1.
to hunt
Hey,
him down
that's
for round
fantastic.
2, I've come upon its nest. I leap into action with flawless skill. And it would seem I'm taking this fight on a little early because it starts at daytime and goes until the game cycles to nighttime. I ended up winning, but it took almost all of my resources.
Yep.
And I had so much fun doing this. Now, the Mystic Spearhand vocation was interesting, but as it was my first time playing Dragon's Dogma 2, I wasn't able to showcase all of the abilities. Still, the focus of the provided build was clearly all about the spear and your character's ability to teleport to foes and deliver devastating blows.
These attacks look so sick.
The recent vocation trailer also teased a wealth of exciting options, like the ability to teleport directly on top of enemies before
That is fantastic, and that part right there where it teleports and is now on top of the monster, there's a lot more skills like that in Dragon's Dogma 2, where after performing the skill you end up being grappled onto the enemy. So that is going to lead to some very cool scenarios where, you know, you want to grapple onto the Cyclops' eye, you go ahead and you use the skill, you're already grabbed now. I think that's going to lead some very cool gameplay moments.
plunging your spear into their back, and an ability that teleports between status-afflicted foes to deliver a
Oh, that looks
blow.
so
Getting
sick.
to see what was possible just makes me want
And this skill right here, where he uses like a clone of himself, kind of looks like an Echo Knight. It looks
to
so
deliver a
cool.
crushing blow. Getting to see what was possible just makes me want to go back and play even more.
And
if
that's
this isn't your
ooh.
like it's possible. Just
Okay,
makes
hold
me
on.
want to go back and
He picked up the corpse of the wolf and threw it at the
And
Chimera.
if this isn't your
That's
liking,
cool.
Dragon's Dogma 2 has
That's
other
going to be my main
vocations
vocation
available.
for sure.
The fighter, archer,
Also, let me know if the audio for this video is fine. If you guys can hear what he's saying well enough.
mage, thief,
Yep.
warrior, sorcerer, mystic spearhand, magic archer,
It looks so good. Oh, that skill is
warfarer,
amazing.
which is sort of a jack of all trades.
Doing a full ass combo on top of him. I'm also very interested on this one. That's the Warfarer being able to swap skills and weapons in the middle of combat. So cool.
And Trickster, which we showed off as part of our IGN First coverage. You are free to switch between each of these on the
Ooh, I hadn't seen this menu before, actually. Okay. So this is where you change vocations, you consume this resource to be able to unlock these vocations and then unlock new skills and augments as well. Augments are going to be your passive skills. So, for example, I think acceleration gives you stamina. I think that's what it did in the first one. There's some other ones that are just simply going to make it so you take less physical damage, you deal more physical damage, etc. But some of them are actually a bit more unique in that sense.
To a vendor and taking a peek at the options.
Ooh, and these are the active skills for the Magic Archer. We get Ricochet Hunter again. Flame Fang Arrow, that's the skill he was using. Incandescent Orb, I think, is just to illuminate areas. Spark Chain Stake, that looks interesting. Yes, weapons are locked to the vocation you're running. So you cannot use, for example, the magic bow on a warrior. But at least in the first game, there was a little bit of a crossover. Like, there was... The assassin and the fighter could both use one-handed sword and shields, for example. Remedy Arrow? Oh right, you're able to kill your allies with this. And actually revive them too.
That each has
Does he go over the Incandescent Orb?
to a vendor and taking a peek.
Let's see. An advanced form of Frostseeker Bolt that extends the effect's duration. Standard, press the button, pinpoint valley. Press the button and press it again, or release the R1, and you get the rivet shot. Okay. Interesting. It does go over the Incandescent Orb, but very quickly. Let me slow down the footage here. Playback speed. I'm gonna mute this so you guys don't lose your ears. Let's see. Oh, just missed it. Hold on. An advanced form of Irradiant Orb that extends the effect's duration. Doesn't tell me what the effect is. But I think it's just that it illuminates an area. Yeah, you'll be able to switch vocations. If you go back to town, you talk to an NPC, you are able to freely switch vocations. And they have actually told us that the stats that you get from the vocations change depending on which one you swap to. So you don't have to worry about having to respec your stats or anything. Because in the first game, you would gain different level up stats depending on the vocation you had equipped. This one, you don't have to worry about that, which is fantastic.
Magic Archer, diving into the combat options, the sheer amount of choices at your disposal is incredibly exciting. My Archer had 9 weapon skills to choose from, with Flame Fang Arrow, Ricochet Hunter, Frost Hunter Bolt, and Recovery Arrow selected. Flame Fang Arrow, at least in the build I played, seems incredibly overpowered.
Incredibly overpowered. That's good to hear.
When the time came to jump over to play the second vocation, I began by being ambushed in a tavern town.
Boy, what's your problem?
Only quick work of my opponent.
Oh, that's cool.
Unlocking them with Ricochet Hunter and Frost Hunter Bolt.
And just get to fight in the middle of town.
Combination so powerful that the Griffin we encountered never stood a chance.
I mean,
in hindsight, I could have started this encounter a little better. Flame Fang Arrow simply devastated everything with ease. While doing a quest that took me into the mines to collect materials, I was blindsided by this thing.
Oh man, the Minotaur.
While letting my pawns do their job, I fire Ricochet Arrow and Ice Arrows at the opponent, as well as the very powerful Flame Fang Arrow. Encounters like this and the Griffin encounter before really demonstrate how powerful the correct pawns are when paired with a good vocation. It also did a great job to break up what I thought was a mission to collect rocks. This was constant throughout my playthrough, and I love how the game just keeps you on your toes all the time. Well, the gameplay was amazing, and I can't wait to get back to play more. There was one concern I've seen the community curious about, and that's the uncapped frame rate on console.
Yep.
When looking at this, it should be noted that I am playing a version which Capcom clearly states is still in development, and it's not equivalent to the final product. But in this build on PlayStation 5, Dragon's Dogma 2 was averaging around 31 frames per second, with dips during heavy combat moments while playing with the PS5 set to output at 4K. I did not get to test at lower base resolutions or with variable refresh rate turned on during my time to see if that had a positive impact on performance. However, if I had one hope, it would be that Capcom added more options in the frame rate department, including, at minimum, a capped 30 frames per second mode on console. That said, the gameplay was so fun that it was hard to walk away focused on anything other than my genuine excitement to play more. And
That's fantastic to hear. Again, so just expect the game to, on console, to be around 30 FPS. Maybe you'll be able to hit 60 on the when it's slower. Keep in mind, again, just like he said, that this is an early build, so it's likely months old. The developers actually don't make these builds. They don't update them just because the content creators get to play the game. So it's likely that this build is like 6 months old, for example. In which case, you know, it's totally understandable why it's not stable 30. If you are worried about it, I would advise you to wait for reviews to come out. I will be playing the game on both PlayStation and PC, but I expect it to be stable 30 at least.
PC, the frame rate didn't bother me that much because the gameplay is that fun. But I'm definitely going to play on my PC. My demo ended in the dead of night trying to help a character navigate the spirits, zombies, and monsters waiting for me in the darkness. But after playing almost 2.5 hours, there's no denying that Dragon's Dogma 2 had me hooked. I cannot wait to play more on March 22nd. If you want to see more about Dragon's Dogma 2, be sure to check out our IGN First coverage. And for more on all things gaming, keep it right here on IGN.
Man, it looks so good. They also got a video here about the Trickster. We're gonna be watching that. Hey, look, that's my stream. But yeah, it looks totally fantastic. Let me see what people are saying here. Pray for the PC port to be well optimized. Yep. Pretty much. Wolves anti-packs arisen. Magic Archer being overpowered. Yep. Certainly does not surprise me. Why don't they go for a cap a 30? Yeah, they're likely going to... I would expect you to let them, or like for them to let you cap it. The IGN dude here said that he was playing at 4K resolution. So it's not performance mode on the PS5, which gives you extra frames at the cost of a little bit less resolution. So I'm guessing that if you play in performance mode, you might be able to get some more frames. But yeah, again, it's an early build, but it is fair that people are concerned about it. But yeah, I want to see this other video here. Oh, it's the same one, okay. 11 minutes of Dragon's Dogma. Oh, they said there will not be a performance mode? Okay, thank you for correcting me then. Damn, that's a shame. Okay, then, I suppose that the best you can hope is stable 30, and maybe just a little bit more. Again, I will be playing the game both on PC and PS5, so I will be commenting on those as soon as I can. But yeah. Now this one is a preview that I have already watched. It's the Rurikhan preview, because it does give us a lot of very good insights that I think a lot of the people that went to the preview event, a lot of them were not experienced with Dragon's Dogma 1, and this is the perspective of someone that has put hundreds of hours into the game, into the first one, which I think is a lot more valuable, so I really do want to hear what he has to say about the game, because he does touch on some specific mechanics, which I think are very important.
Breakers, and welcome back to Dragon's Dogma 2. Recently, I was invited to go to the Capcom offices in London for some hands-on time with the game, which basically gave me the excuse I needed to finally pay a visit to Eric's, 269, Paradise Central, Sox, and Jono, which is something that I had been eagerly anticipating for quite some time. Few things have provided me more joy in life than to meet up with friends I've made online, and getting to play Dragon's Dogma 2 was just a nicely added bonus.
What an awesome start to the video. I just want to say that. What an awesome start. But yeah, let's continue.
For this trip, I paid for all traveling expenses myself due to budget limitations, and it was very much a shotgun adventure. I flew in Thursday late night, hung out with Jono Friday morning, and for those of you that don't know, Jono is the European Monster Hunter community manager. I met up with some of Capcom's team at the office, played some Dragon's Dogma 2 alongside 2.6 and Paradise, and then I braved London's underground during rush hour on a Friday night to meet up with Eric's in central London for dinner.
Not related to what he's saying, but I want to see this clip of the warrior here. The warrior just being able to parry and attack is awesome. I believe the warrior in Dragon's Dogma 1 did have a parry as a skill. But I don't remember it being very good. I think it was called Arc of Vengeance. This one looks to be not even a skill, it looks like it's just a core mechanic of the warrior.
Rush hour on a Friday night to meet up with Eric.
Looks so cool.
London for dinner. After that, I woke up at 5 a.m. the next morning and flew back to Portugal. As I'm writing this script, I'm still a little tired, but damn, it was a really fun trip. Special thanks to Capcom's team and Eric's Gaming for being super awesome and accommodating while I was there. And also, a very special thanks to all of you watching this. Because without you, the Iron Breakers, none of this would even be possible. And I really appreciate your continued support.
So wholesome.
Anyway, yes,
I just want to say, in case you guys don't watch Recon, please do, I like him a lot. He's genuinely always been an awesome dude towards me. Every time that I talk to him has always been super cool. And I've had a lot of fun over the years playing with him. So yeah, I respect him a lot.
To play Dragon's Dogma 2 for about 3 hours, which for a game like this is barely enough.
Also, I want to see here, in case you don't know, you don't actually have a dodge roll in Dragon's Dogma, or most classes don't have it. But here we clearly see the fighter doing it.
Because without you, the Iron Breakers, none of this.
He doesn't get hit, right? It's just, yep, he does get a dodge roll there. So that should be an active skill. That's interesting. I expected the dagger classes to be the only ones that have a dodge roll. But it looks like you get a dodge roll as a fighter too. Interesting.
I really appreciate your continued support.
I did not notice that before.
Yes, I got to play Dragon's Dogma 2 for about 3 hours, which for a game like this is barely enough time to get your bearings, and being the professional content creator that I am,
yeah, it's a skill,
I wasted
yep.
all of my time doing dumb things like this.
Good to know. Just getting smacked fighting 2 Cyclopses and a Griffin. If you're hit while doing it, you unleash an attack after. That's fantastic. I like that they're adding a lot more flashy things to the fighter. Not just making a class that is all around hitting off the parry and doing some simple attacks. Hit him in the chest! Dude, the Mystic Spear Knight looks so cool. Just stab him in the heart. That is so
I'm
sick.
not even sorry, because the game is simply a ton of fun to play. Now, obviously, with only 3 hours of game time and very little sleep, there's likely a few things I've missed. But in this video, it should still give you a pretty good idea of what some of the changes are and what you can expect from Dragon's Dogma 2. You're likely going to see repeated footage throughout my next couple of Dragon's Dogma 2 videos since we were only allowed to show 20 minutes of captured gameplay, and naturally I'm going to have a lot more than 20 minutes worth of impressions.
Poor guy just sits on the ground the entire time.
Also, as we weren't allowed to record menus to prevent potential quest spoilers, so while I will discuss certain things like vocation, stats, and skills, I still won't be able to show them to you. So I'm already aware a lot of people will want to know details about the resolution of frame rates, but to be fair, there's not a whole lot I can actually tell you about the game's capabilities on that end, since the team aren't really ready to discuss that information yet. What I can tell you is the build we were playing was set up to run at 1080p, and it
That skill right there that is doing, not even a skill, that is just the basic attack. It just keeps on going forever. Damn. It just doesn't stop spinning the blade.
However,
Look at that.
It is important to mention this is a very
He did that for like 5 whole seconds.
on a PlayStation 5. However, it is
That's gotta be a ton of damage. And yeah, the lighting looks fantastic here.
Change any of the settings, so I assume it was
The shadows are really good too.
stability, since it has already been confirmed by the game director Hideaki Itsuno that the game will release with an uncapped frame rate.
Yep.
Another thing specifically
That's the
about
thing,
this build
okay.
is that it was prepared for us to experience the gameplay of Magic Archer and Mystic Spearhand. But you can't really expect me to play with a bow. That's simply unreasonable, and quite frankly, I was offended at the prospect. So naturally, the only reasonable thing was for me to change vocations to
Oh, he's
apply
fighting a
myself
golem.
the archer gear and buy myself a nice shield and mace combo. No, on a serious note, we were allowed to experience whatever vocation we wanted, with the exception of warfare.
See that right there? I believe that is the remedy arrow. He fires off towards the NPC there, the thief, that is named Luke. But because the other NPC is also somewhere nearby,
On a serious note, we
he's
were
able
allowed
to
experience
revive
whatever
both of them.
vocation we wanted, with the
That is
exception
very
of
cool.
warfare, which wasn't really present in the build.
Providing some
However, given
utility
limited
there.
time and the required setup for trying different vocations, I focused on experiencing the Magic Archer, Mystic Spearhand, Fighter, and Trickster. So after setting up the Magic Archer character as a fighter, I proceeded to ignore every single quest in my journal and immediately headed outside the city to explore the world and see what it had to offer.
Of
So I
course.
guess we should start with the visuals. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. It retains the same art style as the original, but with a richer color palette and naturally much better.
Look at all the goblins chasing after the fighter.
However, one of the most significant improvements has to be the lighting, which really brings the world to life. Moving through the world, I find a few goblins that need to be put in their place and immediately get to work experiencing the new combat, which feels very familiar to the original Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, you actually have to hold to revive them now. Interesting, you couldn't do that before. Before to revive, you actually just had to tap it once, right? I'm not misremembering it. Or am I? Actually, I might be wrong. I think I'm just thinking of recovering the stamina of someone else. I don't remember. I usually play Dragon's Dogma 1 alone, because I go with the assassin buffs that give you more stats whenever you play by yourself. And
There is
that
no
might
hard lock
that
on
might
or
not
no
be
get
new.
out of jail free dodge roll. It's all about proper positioning, party composition, party recognition, and practice. So naturally, when two big Cyclops showed up to crash my party, I wasn't really scared. I immediately initiated dwarven negotiations. By
Oh, that's
buying
cool. You
mace
can
to
freeze
place
them
where
like that.
previous
Okay.
abandoned. However, when a rogue griffin decided to show up and interrupt my little two
I don't remember being able to freeze an entire Cyclops in the first one. I don't
party,
remember
things got a
being
little
able to
too
do that.
chaotic, and my pawns all
But that's
started
cool.
taking dirt naps on regular intervals, which naturally meant that I had to spend a decent chunk of time rezzing them. Which,
Like
by
you
the
could
way,
freeze the
never seems the
lizards,
quality of
but I
life
don't
changes.
remember
Now,
freezing
when
a
you resurrect
Cyclops.
a pawn close to another pawn that is already dead, both pawns get resurrected, which is really nice. But luckily, the Cyclopses weren't particularly happy about the Griffin joining in on their fun, so they proceeded to bash the daylights out of it, which was an interesting interaction to witness, because while monsters could harm one another in the previous game, I personally don't remember seeing them straight up ganging up on a different monster, which was really cool to see. Now, before I start
You get to see some turf wars here.
next segment,
That's
I should
cool.
mention once again, I only got to play the game on PlayStation 5, so I'm going to be diving into specific controller inputs, and I can't really talk about keyboard and mouse equivalents since I've always played Dragon's Dogma on controller. My apologies.
The mage just
keyboard and mouse
coming up to
equivalents, since I've
Rurikan and
always
start
played Dragon's
levitating.
Dogma on controller. My
That's cool.
apologies for that, but you should still be able to understand some of the changes and innovations they are bringing to the combat system. Regarding specific mechanics, one of the things I noticed while playing the game is that they changed the way weapon skills work. In the original, you would be able to equip 3 primary weapon skills, and you could access them by holding down the left bumper or L1. Then you also had 3 secondary weapon skills, which you accessed by holding down the right bumper or R1. The only exception to this was the warrior, who for some reason was limited only
Yep.
to his primary skills.
The warrior was really crippled in the first one. Like, I love the warrior in Dragon's Dogma 1. It's my second most used vocation. But only being able to equip 3 skills really messed him up. And ultimately, it's why I don't think it's anywhere near as good as some of the better vocations like the Strider or Mystic Knight or the Magic Archer. But it looks like they
Now, a lot
gave
of vocations, but
all
not
characters
skills
now,
would
all
usually be
vocations
associated with different
6 skills to
weapons.
equip.
So the fighter would have 3 sword skills and 3 shield skills, whereas the magic archer would have 3 bow skills and 3 staff skills, and so on. And Dragon's Dogma
Rajang made it to Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah, they did buff the warrior like crazy here.
which we should have seen coming really, since no vocation has access to more than one weapon class, with the notable exceptions of the fighter, if you consider a shield a weapon, and the warfarer, which will naturally be able to wield multiple weapons as part of its vocation mechanic. So in the build we got to play, we were only able to equip 4 weapon skills, which were accessible by pressing the left bumper, and the right bumper was instead used as a vocation-specific mechanic. So in the case of the fighter, this was the ability to block and parry. For the magic archer, it gave you access to the skills.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that is very interesting. You can carry down a pawn to safe location to revive them better. Also, pawns can carry other downed pawns to you. Oh. Oh, I like that. That is much more dynamic than the first one. That is very cool.
Pinpoint volley and rivet shot, which basically allowed you to lock on and fire a bunch of arrows at your enemies. For the Mystic Spear Hand, it's a chargeable skill called Redoubted Bolt, which I'll dive into more detail in a
Redoubted
future
Bolt.
video. And for the Trickster, it was the ability to reposition the aggro effigy, which, again, I will also detail in a future video dedicated to this vocation.
Dude, that combo looks sick. Just look at that. He flies up into the ogre's face. In the single skill, starts stabbing him in the back. And now he's grappled onto the face, so he just deals even more damage.
Core skills and cross-vocation augments are still very much a thing, if you're wondering. But naturally, I didn't really get to experiment much with those, since with the limited time we were given, I wasn't going to be running around leveling up vocations whose gear I couldn't even afford for an additional passive skill. It was enough to learn all of these systems were still in place to allow you to min-max your character to unreasonable levels. And while we're on the topic of min-maxing, something I've been curious about was how stat growth was going to work, since in the original...
Now, this is the thing that got me the most excited from what I saw from all of the previews, really, is the ability to be able to swap classes, swap vocations, rather, without having to worry about the stats, because before you would kind of screw up, or you would get screwed up if you just swapped vocations and you would not have the stats that you needed to. But here it's totally fine.
If you leveled up as a warrior and later changed your vocation to sorcerer, you would still have the stats of a warrior, which naturally weren't the best for your new vocation, and while this could be mitigated with gear, you are still losing out on damage, which eventually would cause people to level up using vocations they didn't actually want to play in order to optimize stat growth for their intended vocation. A good example of this was leveling up as a sorcerer in order to increase your damage as a mystic knight.
Yep, same thing I had to do as a magic archer. If you wanted to get the most damage output as a magic archer, you would want to play as the mage first. If you wanted to do as much damage as possible as the assassin, you would want to start as a fighter and then go into warrior. It's very good that they got rid of that. It's very, very good.
And I'm actually curious, so if you're one of the players that prefer this leveling method, do sound off in the comments. However, for Dragon's Dogma 2, our testing revealed that they're doing it differently. It seems each vocation has its preset stats and stat growths, so when you swap vocations, your stats are going to adjust accordingly, which means you can safely play whatever vocation you like without permanently changing the stats for your preferred build. And for me, this is a massive quality of life improvement. Now, jumping back to gameplay-specific features, another thing that I noticed when pressing the left bumper to access my skills was that it also gave me quick access to consumables. And
This is a huge deal. One of the biggest downsides of the Dragon's Dogma 1 combat, in my opinion, is having to stop the game to be able to heal. It's something that I hated about Tears of the Kingdom as well. I just never liked doing healing like that. I never liked it in Skyrim. Just never, it's never good in my opinion. Never feels good having to stop the game and open a menu just to heal. So now having a shortcut to do that in the middle of combat, it's going to feel much nicer. Hey Dark Hero, cool to see you on Twitch. I have been watching your Monster Hunter content for so long now. Hey, thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, since you now can actually stream on both at the same time. Yeah, just need to press L1 and use your arrows. And from what I understood, you can have each of the D-pad buttons assigned to a different consumable item.
Automatically cycled through different consumable items. So L1 plus up D-pad would use whatever item I had in my inventory that could heal me. L1 plus down D-pad would bring up a stamina recovery item. L1
Ooh, what the fuck is that dragon? Ooh, that dragon looks so weird.
Would use the lantern, and L1 plus left D-pad would bring up the item menu.
Okay, so it's all of those different items, okay.
In the final build, as I was more focused on capturing gameplay footage, but I definitely liked how seamless it was to heal up and recover stamina. As I experimented with the skills, I also noticed one of the fighter skills, Gouging Skewer, actually placed you into a grabbing position, like when you grab onto a monster and start climbing it and stuff like that, right? So you would execute the skill, and when it landed properly on a big enough enemy, you would be grabbed onto it and you could carry on the actions of a regular enemy grab. I was also able to do this with one of the Mystic Spear Hand skills, so this isn't a fighter-exclusive feature. And finally, another mechanic I learned is that there are now critical attacks that you can do as a melee class. These can be performed on both large and small enemies and just consist of approaching an enemy when they're down or toppled and pressing the triangle button.
I'm very curious to see how these executions work. Very, very curious about it. Because so far I haven't seen a button prompt show up to be able to do it. So I am, again, just very curious of how they will work. Rurikan saying whenever the monster is down, you go up to it, you press triangle. Kind of like you would do an execution in, let's say, God of War, maybe? I never liked them too much, but I'm guessing here in Dragon's Dogma 2, you don't actually just kill the monster right away, you just deal more damage.
Which will result in a much more powerful attack than usual, almost like an execution. And speaking of toppling monsters, there's also now a new grabbing mechanic wherein you can grab onto a large monster's leg and push or pull on it to throw them off balance and topple them. I don't know exactly how this works on 4.
I thought this was already in the first game. Because I remember grabbing onto a griffin and just, because my character was so heavy, I was able to pull him down. But maybe it's just not because I was pulling him down, it was just that my character was heavy. Maybe it's something totally different. Did they cover the warrior having more than 3 active skills? Yeah, the warrior will now have a lot more stuff, thankfully. I was just talking about it, actually. How the warrior was crippled in Dragon's Dogma 1.
four-legged creatures, as I wasn't really able to properly test it since the griffin kept running away from me, but I most definitely toppled a golem like this. So yeah, I learned a lot of new mechanics, but at this point I figured I should stop having so much fun and actually spend some time playing the intended vocations that were set up for this build, so I reloaded the save
I always
file
enjoyed
and
using
saved the
skills like that one in the original. To be able to snipe enemies from a distance, and now having that on the Magic Archer. Fantastic. They don't show a button prompt, it just happens automatically if you press triangle. It does unique animation, only kills the monster if you do enough damage. Right, okay. That makes sense.
archer. However, as you can imagine, my dwarven demeanor ill suits an archer, so I wasn't particularly adept at it, but some of the magic archer skills were actually really fun, like the ricochet arrow, which I can imagine being downright nasty when fired inside a cave or structure, looked really good. Although my favorite had to have been the Flame Fang arrow, which you can fire after charging, and then you can control the trajectory of an explosive arrow, which not only...
So that was what the skill description was saying, that if you press the button again, you're able to actually manually control it. The IGN reviewer was not doing this, so it is the same skill as that he was using on that other video. He was just not doing this. Okay.
dealt a considerable amount of damage, but it was also very fun to shoot and control. I may have spammed it a little too much. Beyond that, they also added a very interesting mechanic with the Remedy Arrow, which was a skill that allowed you to both heal and resurrect your pawns, which, as you can imagine, is going to be quite useful as a backline vocation. But overall, my 3 hours of hands-on time...
No, that's what I was saying before, where he aims at this guy, but because this other pawn is very close by, they're going to be both revived.
Flew by. The world is incredibly enjoyable to navigate and feel just ripe for exploration, but naturally, for the purpose of capturing footage, I was just running all over the place trying to find interesting monsters to fight, and both the combat and traversal felt incredibly smooth and satisfying. The new gameplay and quality of life changes feel very good. The monsters feel great to fight, and for all intents and purposes, it just feels like the natural evolution of the original game. And the Mystic Spearhand vocation... oh man, it was an absolute joy to play.
This
So
looks
good, in
like a
fact,
beast
it's
of a
currently my
vocation,
favorite
dude.
vocation, and it's not even close. However, I will be making a dedicated video for the Mystic Spearhand, as there's a lot to talk about. And if you happen to
Ooh,
be
that
curious
is
about
cool.
the Trickster, don't worry. I plan on making a video covering that one too. And just in case you're thinking it feels like a gimmick class, it's actually quite powerful, and it doesn't feel nearly as awkward to play as you might imagine.
I'm very
You can
curious about
expect
the
videos on
Mystic, about the Trickster, sorry, because everything we've seen about it kind of looks like it's going to be mostly a support class. And looking at Dragon's Dogma 1, where the mage was a more support-focused vocation and it wasn't very good, I'm very curious to see how the Trickster will work. Some skills that we saw, like he was doing this vape dragon, I guess you could say, looked pretty cool. But I don't know.
Those two vocations to hit the channel soon, and if you have any specific questions, you can leave those in the comment section below.
Oh, it just
For
puts
now,
up a wall
thank you
there?
all very much
Okay.
for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, as it really helps me out. And while you're down there, feel free to subscribe for more Dragon's Dogma 2 content. Stay strong.
What the?
Stay safe. Peace out.
He's just... He can summon a clone of himself or a spirit, and he starts controlling the spirit outside of the body. It doesn't show why he does that, but I'm very curious as to how you would use it properly. Your pawns cannot be a trickster. There will be pawn-specific vocations and arisen-only vocations as well. I'm curious as to what vocations are going to be the pawn-only vocations. That's the ones that I'm the most curious about right now. The ones that I think are going to be arisen-specific are going to be the Mystic Spearhand, the Trickster, the Warfarer, and I think I'm missing someone else. They did confirm there were only going to be 10 vocations. If you go here to the website, let me put on the Dragon's Dogma soundtrack. Where is the classes? Yeah, I think it's these 4 vocations that are going to be specific to the Arisen. So like the ones that are not the simple vocations or the advanced ones. Make it just a little bit lower. So that is the Magic Archer, the Mystic Spearhand, the Trickster, and the Warfarer. But again, the pawn-only vocations, I don't know what those would be. I genuinely am very interested in seeing those. Yeah, the Trickster looks very interesting. They do specify a vocation exclusive to the Arisen. I put it like this. They can use illusions to deceive enemies into fighting against their own. That's very cool. Also have the ability to temporarily increase the power of pawns beyond their limits. Okay. I think there was a mistranslation. Either there are only 10 vocations on launch, or that pawns have exclusive vocations. I do know that there are only going to be 10 playable vocations. The pawn exclusive vocations, I've heard that it's a mistranslation. I have heard that it's not. So I still don't know. But yeah, Trickster, they kind of just got rid of the color combos here for the classes. Because Mystic Spearhand is quite clearly a combination of Warrior and Sorcerer, much like Mystic Knight was. And Magic Archer is the combination of course, the Mage and the Archer. Hold on, this might be a little too loud. Let me know if the audio is fine, please. But this one just pink and purple. It's kinda, you know, nowhere. Myself and many other players were of course speculating if we were going to be getting more vocations, but it's not going to be the case. They might add them later on as DLC because, you know, the game is expected to do very well, so I can totally see that happen. But they kind of just said, screw the colors, let's do our own thing. And you know, I just hope that the Trickster ends up being a good vocation. That is fun. Yeah, let's go back to the videos. I do have one more preview I do want to take a look at. It's this one right here. By PlayStation Access. Meet Mind Control and 7 more Dragon's Dogma 2 features that you will love.
Welcome to PlayStation Access. My name's Rob, and this is Dragon's Dogma 2 on PS5. We played for several hours, and let me tell you, this game is an infinite wonder generator. It bombards you with so many astonishing sights and sounds that I'm tempted to do my best Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner impression, because I've genuinely seen things you people wouldn't believe. An archer plucked from the back of a stone golem by a rampaging griffin.
Oh
I
shit.
watched a loyal companion brainwashed by the smouldering stare of a drake.
Oh, that is cool. Was this in the first game? The dragon just straight up mind controlled one of the pawns. I don't remember this being a thing in the first game. That is very cool.
I rode a cyclops as it face planted into a majestic pine and collapsed in a sad pile. There was also the less impressive moment I fell over and a wolf seized my head in its jaws and dragged me for miles like a dog.
What the hell? The wolf can just straight up drag you along? Oh, that is...
Stealing a string of sausages from the butcher's. Look at his mates rolling up for an all-you-can-eat Rob buffet. Feast away, but please leave me a good review on TripAdvisor. Such things are everyday occurrences in Dragon's Dogma 2, a world rife with strange alchemy. In the lands of Vermund and Batal, esoteric systems rub shoulders with slapstick
The
physics
golem
to
looks so
conjure
cool.
moments of emergent madness that most developers could spend years trying to choreograph. I'm going to attempt to run through all the stuff that caught my imagination and the ways I think it'll sink its teeth into you as well. Oh god, now I'm thinking about the whole wolf thing again. Moving swiftly on. I need to start with something very, very important.
It happened on the first one too? Okay. Apparently it didn't know that wolves hunted packs arisen. That's the camp menu. I hadn't seen this before. So I guess you pick which ingredients you add to the camp? Okay, that is cool.
In Dragon's Dogma 2, you can kill creatures, harvest their meats, and then cook those meats.
So apparently this video is actually a real life footage that was recorded and just put onto the game. At least that's what I heard, what I read on an interview, that, you know, they were like, we either go with the expensive computer CGI and try to fabricate this really cool looking meat, or we just opt to buy an expensive pack of meat, go in with an expensive camera, and film the whole thing.
When you rest at camp, and I honestly can't tell if these meats are real or not. As in, is this a computer-generated image or a video of real meat cooking? If it's digital, these might be the most amazing graphics I've ever seen. The flickering flames, the dewy specks of oil.
Nope, this is straight up just recorded on a camera.
Intramuscular fat marbling through the flesh. This has to be real meat, right? But then from certain angles, is that hunk of flesh a tiny bit too shiny or rigid around the edges? Is this a CG chop inserted onto a video of a frying pan? I have genuinely put in a request with Capcom of Japan to find out if this is real or not. That is how much sleep I am losing over this. The stakes are that high. But are the stakes real? Please type real or fake in the comments because I am losing it over here.
Oh yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is gonna have us all hungry while we're playing. Love your Grand Blue Fantasy videos. Greetings from Brazil. Muito obrigado, Samuel. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Include 40 seconds of meat pornography tells you something important about Dragon's
It does
Dogma
look
2.
tasty.
This is a game with its own groove. You could probably glean that from its DNA. It's an open-world action RPG made by the team behind the Devil May Cry series. They know how to make a tiny man stabbing a giant demon feel amazing, that's a given. But their background also means they don't bring years of RPG preconceptions and genre baggage. There's no sense of a guiding hand on your back. The map is blessedly icon-free. There are no glowing quest pointers, and if someone wants a job done, they'll holler as you mosey.
I'm just trying to see if I can recognize all of these icons on the map. So that is the inn. You can kind of see the bed icon there. That's, I'm guessing, the quest board. That one with the dual swords, I'm guessing, is either the weapons vendor or maybe a place where you can change vocations, though I'm guessing that you can do that at the end. I don't know what that is, though. This icon right here to the left of the player. Maybe a guild hub of sorts. This one has a potion icon, so you buy consumables there, I'm guessing. That's the rift stones. And I'm guessing that is just a quest marker for a quest that you have.
Bye.
Oi, you there! You've just arrived in town, haven't you?
I'm playing Grand Blue right now. I also have Grand Blue on auto farm.
Goes missing. It's up to you to deduce the what, where, and why from hearsay and gossip in the town square. People mention flower picking and plants that glow at night. So you take a nap and pray that the local peasants weren't drunk on mead as you follow luminous buds into the deadly dark. It's risky giving people freedom. You might misunderstand the task, or half understand and follow the flow as part
That's a lich.
of the way. Get distracted
Oh, that's the first time I've seen the lich in the second game, I think.
by a wight and his skeleton support band, and then forget about the boy entirely. The clock is ticking on some of these quests.
If I'm not mistaken, the thing with this guy was that he had a lot of physical defense, but not a lot of magical defense. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Armor Knight. They killed off the Mystic Knight, not cool. Yeah, it's a shame that they got rid of the Mystic Knight. But, you know, I actually am very hyped for the Mystic Spearhand. But I would love to have the opportunity to go with both.
So we can only imagine what happened to that poor kid. But that you're allowed to get lost and get it wrong feels deliciously out of step with the breadcrumb trails of modern open worlds. If there were breadcrumbs here.
I don't know what that icon is. It kind of looks like some crystals that you can go over and mine. And that is totally the campfire icon. I'm wondering if you have set locations so that you can only camp in certain campsites, or if you are the one that makes your own campsites, kind of like you place down the fairy stone in the first game, and you decide where you actually start a camp.
They'd only draw the attention of the world's nastiest pigeon. I know it's against the law to describe any game as a living, breathing world, so let's say that this one hiccups with vitality. The way you'll find ox carts on the road and can hitch a ride on them, but only if you want to go where the farmer was already heading, no matter how belligerently you protest. Or the way night falls and suddenly the inky black is dotted with the torches of other nervous travellers hurrying to camps. Or the sudden tension of accidentally flashing your giant double-ended spear and seeing the whole town bare its fangs at you. Its fantasy vision is charmingly straightforward. It resists the grim, dark desolation of From Software and the weary sadness of The Witcher, instead tapping into a broader, more optimistic sense of adventure. It feels like the kind of world you'd scribble as a kid with a head full of Tolkien. Deep valleys with goblins around every corner, serene forests where the peace is suddenly shattered by a roar you can't quite place.
Oh damn.
Or just the simple pleasure of a cave promising a treasure chest. And something horrible living near the
Of course.
Night is dark and scary because, well, night is dark
Then
and
the
scary.
zombies come
It's
up.
a place where people say twere and twas and mayhap. They spell Sir S-E-R, not S-I-R. And it feels like the NPC dialogue is keeping an entire county of British actors in work. As you crest another hill to discover an idyllic beachy hamlet.
That town looks so good.
Work. As you crest another hill.
I mean, that's probably just a minor town in the game. It looks so good. Imagine you go into town and then it's, hey Arisen, I got this quest for you. Oh yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I would imagine it's like, maybe they get a pop-up, or maybe there is a little bit of dialogue, but you actually have to approach them to get the things done. I hope not, but the creator did say that he paid a lot of attention to fan complaints about pawns repeating the same lines and talking a lot, so I doubt the other NPCs will be annoying as well.
To discover an
That is good to hear.
Hamlet, or suddenly stumble across a phantom ox cart that
What the hell?
the night. There's just such immaculate vibes to the tone of Dragon's Dogma 2. The map also doubles as a monster zoo, which often feels like a trip down Capcom's monster memory lane. There are zombies, so I'm now on the lookout for ye olde umbrella apothecary. Devil May Cry has always done a good line.
The
in
lizards.
There are ghosts, there are goblins. I'm not sure there are ever ghosts and goblins, but it could feasibly happen. Not to mention the returning Dragon's Dogma classics, Harpies.
Oh, I hated the Harpies in the first game. When I got back to Dragon's Dogma 1, just to get back onto the nostalgia, man, I immediately got some harpies annoying me, and I tried to grapple onto one of them. But as I was jumping, the second harpy actually grabbed me and just lifted me up into the air and then dropped me off, and I died. I did not miss the harpies, man. I never liked them.
Only for an ogre to rudely butt slam them into paste, or the bucking bronco of grabbing onto a griffin's feathers and hoping for free air miles. Side note, one of our sidekicks used flames on this big bird, and it sadly did not result in photorealistic drumsticks. They drip with personality. I love how ogres try to grab female members of the party and then run off to privately slobber on them. Or the incredible self-own, where the same ogre tries to squish us climbing up his back, leaving his head open for violent stabs. It's worth pointing out that these things can happen because Capcom gives you room for these things to happen. It's not that Dragon's Dogma 2 is an easy game. Every attack you take chips away at your maximum health until you camp, and camping itself can be ambushed, which is as frightening and discomforting.
Ooh, you can be ambushed while camping. That is cool. Huh. That is very interesting. Saw a post on X saying that all the NPCs can be killed. Yeah, I did see probably that same post earlier before, and I was talking about it. Very interesting how you're going to be able to revive people with the wake stones, and you're probably gonna need to save some of them to save the proper NPCs. Hey Dreddy, welcome to the stream, dude. If you are falling from up high, you can ask a pawn for help? Oh shit. Oh, that is cool. So if you actually still press the button in time, the left on the D-pad. That is very cool.
Bobulating as you'd expect. But this isn't an Elden Ring health bar vaporizing before your eyes. Most of the time you'll survive long enough for weird stuff to kick in, to have a 5-minute slobber knocker of a punch-up with a Cyclops, or for a simple wolf fight to escalate into a griffin encounter. A quick death is the enemy of emergent fun, and Dragon's Dogma 2 gets this. The best fights feel like punchier Monster Hunter encounters, where you spend ages chipping away at multiple health bars, waiting to see what tricks a creature might turn to out of desperation. Take golems, which are untouchable unless you hit glowing medals, which I think
gotta hit
the
those weak
golems may have
spots.
borrowed from Resident Evil 4's blue medallion hunt. Anyway, until you strike these targets, you're under a constant barrage of eye lasers, swinging fists, and a red-hot rampage that looks like me if I drink too much Fanta. Climb up his body, and you'll likely get a rib-cracking squeeze. But just like a Monster Hunter,
Ooh, the animations on the golem look fantastic.
on the ropes, and you feel a bit sorry for it. Look how it tumbles over like a kid.
Oh, you can pick up a boulder from the golem?
All the way
That's
your
cool.
party tug its leg to reveal the final seal on the sole of its foot. There's such physicality and brutality when these things kick off. Don't worry though, there's plenty of stuff waiting to be brutal back. Let's single out the Drake, a smaller version of the dragon who serves as the heart-plucking big bad in Dragon's Dogma 2. That earlier dragon run-in seems to have left you with a creepy bond with lizard kind. Both your chests begin to throb, and you hear it rasping to you with big passes.
I always like that detail whenever you find a Drake. Good to think they kept it in the sequel. About to cast a massive lighting spell in the town and create my own ghost town? I'm definitely gonna be trying that. There is only going to be one unique save file, so you do need to be careful about that. But I will totally try that in some of these smaller towns.
Energy.
It's so cool to see that.
The Drake quickly goes
You can
from
hear the dragon.
sweet nothings in your ear to spraying hot plenties in your face with thick jets of gloopy fire toasting the battlefield. A glowing weak spot lies tantalizingly in reach, but every attempt ends in torched companions and a quick death. Oh, and the moment it grabbed Mally and possessed her with a dark stare, forcing us to fight our own party. Yes, we soon died. That was despite our best efforts to master 2 advanced vocations, the classes that define the Arisen's powers. In this demo, we tried the Magic Archer and the Mystic Spearhand, which both blend physical combat and magic to some extent. The Mystic Spearhand carries a dual-ended spear that can lop off lizard parts or let you do your best Darth Maul cosplay. Speaking of the Sith, your magic affinity also gives you Humble Offering, a force lift by any other name, that lets you fling objects and enemies with the power of your mind. You also get the Redoubted Bolt. Hit an enemy with this projectile and you can either detonate it or teleport to the target to get up close with some speedy jabbing.
Oh, I didn't know that's how it worked for the Mystic Spearhand. That is very handy. So it's like you throw a mark. It's kind of like the magnetic spike in a sense from Monster Hunter Frontier. You throw out the mark and then you decide what you do after. If you do some burst damage or if you just teleport to it.
Detonate it or teleport to the target to get up close with some speedy jabbing.
That is
Throw
very
in the
cool.
magic shield of Mirror Vesture, all these little projectile daggers, and it
Ooh, you get...
adds up to a class that lets
That is definitely the class that I'm maining. This is the vocation I'm playing for sure. No questions about it. You get to use the shield and also summon daggers around you.
daggers,
Nah, man, I'm playing this.
and it adds up to a class that lets you nimbly shift between distant and close range drubbings. The Magic Archer is flimsy up close, but melds spells with arrows for targeted pain. Holding attack locks on more projectiles, and your conversion skill lets you switch from a giant reticule that targets multiple enemies to a focused aim that quickly queues up attacks against one spot. You can also steer a Flame Fang arrow in first person, handing
Yep.
those golem medals, or missing those medals and taking sights. And the Remedy arrow heals party members or yourself when aimed at your own feet. Perhaps the most delicious move is the Ricochet.
Oh, damn, look at the Ricochet in action.
Lethal in a confined space.
Man, one of the sickest things you can do in Dragon's Dogma 1 is fire off the Ricochet arrows in the Bitter Black Isles. And it looks like it's going to be insanely OP in this game as well. Mystic Spearhand or Warrior for me? Yep. Those were the two that I was the most excited for. Warrior not so much because it's not new, but I think those are the two that look the most impressive. Assassin does more damage, loses stamina slower when climbing, I think. But there's not going to be Assassin in this game, right? At least not on launch. Yeah, we don't have Assassin. We do have the Thief, which I'm guessing it's kind of like gonna play like the Assassin. Right, a combination of the Strider and the Assassin on the same one. Man, it looks fantastic.
Look how the Cave Ogre's health bar melts under the bombardment. If Dragon's Dogma 2 was 90%...
Yeah, no worries, Arthur.
This would be my vocation of choice. Finally, a love letter to pawns. That's P-A-W-N. Whatever vocation your Arisen is, these AI-controlled party members end up doing most of the hard work, covering you with healing bombs and covering giant birds with very unhealing fire. It's just always nice to see people who are good at their jobs doing their...
Oh shit!
A warrior pawn
Did you guys see that? The warrior thrusts at the goblin.
nice to
He lifts him up with the sword, and while picking him up,
see people
just runs him up
good at their job
against the wall.
Watching
That
a
is so
warrior
cool.
pawn scampering up the torso of a monster fills me with fatherly pride and relief that it's him, not me. You get to craft your own main pawn, but the other two are recruited from the world, and in an ingenious twist, they can be enlisted from other people's worlds. Yes, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a multiverse of...
I'm gonna make the sickest pawn. In Dragon's Dogma 1, I named my pawn Dark Hero, and my main character was actually named something else. I don't even remember what it was. But I'm gonna try to make the most overpowered pawn so I can go into other people's games and just deal tons of damage. It's gonna be sick. Not gonna lie, this game makes Mage look so good. Dragon's Dogma, since the first game, in my opinion, is the game that does magic the best in any action game. You actually get to feel the powerful spells.
All of our individual adventures are happening in parallel. It explains why you can dip into other realities, pluck out a pawn, and then bring them into your party. It also means if that pawn has completed a quest in their origin world, they bring that knowledge into your game and can offer extra guidance when you're on that quest.
Same as the
When an
first
NPC
one.
suddenly
Nice.
chimes in that they know the location of a treasure they recall from a past life, it gives you a shiver of genuine magic. Though on the flip side, when they keep talking about previous masters, it can feel like journeying with a bunch of people who can't shut up about their exes.
One master I served was quite the carefree soul, shunning armor in all its forms.
Cool, good for them. I happen to like armor.
One of my former masters chose to hire only women. I wonder why.
They just casually happened to mention that they only played with women. Nice. I like some of this banter. Of course, it might get annoying if they talk too much, but it's something that never annoys me too much. I'm not the type of player to be annoyed by that. I know a lot of people got annoyed by Granblue Fantasy Relink because the characters kept talking in combat, actually.
Yeah, but I'm your master now. Can we stop talking about the other guy? Honestly, it's like adventuring inside the distracted boyfriend meme. I'd argue these foibles is what makes them so effective. Capcom mimic the experience of online co-op, which is something Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't support.
It is a shame that there is no co-op in Dragon's Dogma. It's like, I'm still going to love the game and enjoy it, but I always wished it had co-op. I think multicasting is a thing. Yeah, in the first one, you can totally multicast. You can go in with 4 players and you can totally do it. Not 4 players, of course, with 3 pawns and your own character and all cast the same skill. You can totally do it. So you can cast those bolides much quicker. Heard they're letting certain content creators get access to the pawn creation system early to enable followers to the ability to find and recruit them. I mean, you know, just because they are able to play the game early, their pawns will be out there in the system, yeah? Personally, I haven't received confirmation yet, but I have been told that I should get an early copy. That is all I can say for now. So I will make the best, most OP spawn that I can make, and I'll be sure to give it to you guys so you can have a good time.
Instead of mic chat, you hear pawns talking and you begin projecting personalities on them. Like Emma, who can't seem to make her mind up. 1 minute...
Bye, Arn. Thank you for dropping by, dude.
Scrupulous
Appreciate it.
is the cornerstone of any adventure.
And the next second, she's chastising you for being too scrupulous.
You're like to grow overburdened if you keep picking up every little trinket you find.
Emma is as frustrating to play games with as Dave or Rosie. But unlike Dave or Rosie, Emma will be there for me if I want to play at 3 in the morning. When you combine all of this stuff, the real but not real party, the physicality of combat, the magic of discovery when a game doesn't hold your hand, it adds up to an action RPG unlike any other. There's so little received wisdom here. Or if it is received, it's Capcom bringing in ideas from outside open world games. So it all seems very refreshing. I'm frankly terrified that in a year that has already given us Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Helldivers 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that there's another huge time sink as compelling as this knocking on the door when Dragon's Dogma 2 arrives on PS5 on the 22nd of March. I think it could drag me away for some time. Yes, just like the wolf. Thanks for listening.
Not just some time. This is by far the game that I'm the most excited for. Like, this is already Game of the Year for me. I'm gonna play the shit out of the Elden Ring DLC, but man, this is the best thing for me. Like, the year could end after Dragon's Dogma 2 released, and I think it would be an amazing year for video games. Like just between this and Relink and Helldivers 2. And also Persona 3 Reloaded and Yakuza as well. Just a fantastic year. Oops. Still trying to decide if I'm going to be making a monstrosity or an actual good looking pawn. I used to make my pawn blue, have a blue skin, I think. Let me see if I have a screenshot that I can show you guys of my pawn in Dragon's Dogma. Let me see if I can find it. Because mine does not look pretty, let me tell you. Most of the footage that I have here, I'm playing solo. So I don't think I can show it to you guys. But yeah, my pawn is just a hulking guy that has blue skin and massive red beard. And he's a beast of a warrior. Man, the game looks so good. Just absolutely incredible. Oh, let me put on some music. Actually, let me put this on with the proper sounds. The Smurf pawn, exactly. Palworld, Enshrouded, Ghost of Tsushima on PC, Black Myth Wukong. So many good games, dude. So many good games. It's already looking to be a fantastic year for games. Which vocation are you guys the most excited to be playing? I know some of you have already said Warrior, but I'm kind of curious to see the consensus here in chat. Let me lower this a little bit. I'm convinced that the top liked pawns when the game comes out will be all midget, obese, purple bald pawns. I would upvote a pawn like that. Gotta give the little ones the deepest voice too, yep. And the big guys gotta have the highest pitch voice possible. That's the rule. I do want to take a look at... I put on the soundtrack here. I do want to take a look at the deluxe edition and talk a little bit about it. So, I'm actually going to be recording this for YouTube later on. So Capcom already has listed the contents of the deluxe edition compared to the standard edition. Let me just go ahead and mute this real quick. And so I thought it would be a good idea to compare the standard edition with the deluxe edition and tell you guys about what you can get from them. So of course, even if you get the standard edition, you still end up getting some goodies out of it thanks to the pre-order bonuses. And these are the Superior Weapons Quartet, which it seems like you'll be getting a sword and shield, a couple of daggers, a staff, and a special bow. These items will appear in your in-game storage. Speak to the innkeeper to view your storage. You must have the full game of Dragon's Dogma 2 to access the content. And the content can be downloaded from the store, blah blah blah. So just everybody will be able to have access to all of this. We don't have the stats for these weapons yet. In Dragon's Dogma 1 Dark Arisen, you're able to get the torpor weapons, the rusty weapons at the start. And those are actually very powerful, especially the rusty bow, because you're able to permanently slow the enemy. Just makes most of the fights in the game a whole lot easier thanks to it. So I wonder how these are going to work. I would imagine it's just more powerful weapons at the start. but something that you're likely going to be replacing very, very early on, I would imagine. Now for the deluxe edition, you do get some extra goodies, and some of these seem to be very powerful, and some of these are only cosmetic. And you do also get an extra stuff out of the pre-order bonus. So you do start off with some camping gear. I think it's just going to be purely cosmetic, this part. It may be available for those that don't purchase it. You also get the 1500 Rift Crystals. These are of course used to hire the pawns in the game. And in Dragon's Dogma 1, you can also use the Rift Crystals for a couple more things. There are some vendors that specifically use the Rift Crystals, or you can use the Rift Crystals to create one of those Rift Stones in the Bitter Black Isles. So again, just not very impactful things. You're going to be able to get a ton of these. And you get some custom sounds. Dragon's Dogma 2 Music and Sound Collection enables to change some in-game music and sound effects to those of the original Dragon's Dogma. Again, nothing too special, just being able to change a couple of sound effects. And the game music, nothing too special. You do start off the game with a Wake Stone, so there is a little bit of pay to win there. I wouldn't worry about it. These Wake Stones can of course be used to revive yourself or restore the life of an NPC. Because in Dragon's Dogma 2, any NPC that you kill will actually be permanently killed unless you use a Wake Stone on them shortly after they die. So you may get some impacts out of this, you may get some good uses out of the Wake Stone, but I don't think it's going to be that beneficial. It's not going to warrant by itself being able to get these convenience items. Art of the Metamorphosis. Added the appearance of the Arisen or a pawn. So you basically just get a character edit voucher like you do in Monster Hunter. I never liked that Capcom has been doing this since Monster Hunter World, selling you something to edit the customization of a character instead of letting you do that for free in the game. If they do it like they did in World, they're going to be selling this for some extra cash. I personally don't like it, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully it's not going to be a microtransaction later on. Now the Harpy Snare Smoke Beacons emits a scent enticing to harpies. I guess you can use this to just lure in the harpies, make sure that they end up at the ground and you can use them to deal damage to the harpies more easily. It's not going to be very impactful because harpies are enemies that you pretty much only fight for the most part at the beginning to middle portion of the game, and they can be very easily killed, especially if you're playing a weapon that has ranged attacks. So again, I just wouldn't worry about this. You also get the Ambivalent Rift Incense that can let you change your pawn inclination. So this is just to change the behavior of your pawn. In Dragon's Dogma 1, you could go to a chair in the first inn of the game and you would be able to change their behavior. It seems like you're going to be able to use an item to do that. I hope that they don't end up selling this item as a microtransaction. I hope you can farm these. But if that's not the case, I'm a bit worried. They also give you the Heartfelt Pendant that can be offered as a gift. It's likely going to be one of those items that you can use just to increase the affinity with an NPC, because there's actually romance in Dragon's Dogma, in case you didn't know before. In Dragon's Dogma 1, at the end of the game, you actually end up having a somewhat romantic scene with an NPC, the one that has the highest affinity with you, which in my case, in one of my playthroughs, was the weapons vendor, because I ended up buying a lot of things from him. So you can have some fun scenarios in that sense. And this is just an item that you're going to be able to give to that NPC to increase your affinity with them. Ultimately, it's just going to be something to expedite the process, and you're likely going to be able to get the NPC you want to romance, to have the highest NPC with you, to have the highest affinity with you, sorry. You're likely going to be able to do that without this item very easily. But, you know, this is an item that is going to have some impact. We just don't know how effective this is going to be in raising the affinity. If it's like the first game after you beat the game once, you get to change your appearance. That is true, you could do that on the first one. But you couldn't change everything, yeah. I don't think whenever you beat the game in Dragon's Dogma 1, I don't think you can, for example, change your size or the color of your skin. Yeah, you're probably not going to be able to change race as well. I can totally see that. Now, for the final item, you get a makeshift jail key, which is quite simply going to let you get out of jail. In Dragon's Dogma 1, you can get this item very early on. Excuse me. And it is a pretty useful item, being able to leave the jail as soon as possible. But at the same time, in Dragon's Dogma 1, even if you go to jail and you don't have the keys, you can get out of there very quickly. So all of these convenience items are not going to end up mattering too much. But personally, I just don't like that they are selling them. But if you are wondering which edition of the game you should get, do note that at the very least, the difference between these is not going to be that different. Now, as I said before, there is an extra pre-order bonus that you get from the collector's edition, which is this ring, the Ring of Assurance, and that is what I'm worried about. We don't have any description for this ring as of yet, so we don't know how effective it's going to be, but it could totally be one of those things that it's just a ring that gives you more XP to level up faster, and that is going to be very useful if that's the case. Again, we don't know that as of yet, and I don't think there is a ring by the same name in Dragon's Dogma 1. Actually, let me Google this, just to make sure. So all that I'm seeing online is there is no description of this item so far. It's just people speculating on what this ring does. So I'm guessing it's going to be a ring that lets you get more XP or lets you farm the points that you need to unlock new skills faster. But we currently don't know what it's going to be. Let me put this again in the nostalgic character creation soundtrack. I hope the ring isn't very impactful, but yeah. Watch that ring give you a free revive and then it shatters into nothing. I don't think it's going to be a revive because you already get the Wake Stone from the deluxe edition. And I don't think it's going to be for an NPC for you to give it to an NPC because you already have an item that is specifically made to be given to an NPC to increase their affinity. So I don't think it's any of those. It whispers you can do it arisen, or wolves and in packs arisen. Goblins are weak to fire. Man, the game looks so good. Let's see, the preview, the showcase event is about to start. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Because we are going to be co-streaming the event. But let's take a look at another preview before that starts. Let's see. There's also this preview by Eurogamer that I wanted to take a look at. Yeah, in just 10 minutes. We have enough time to watch this.
Hey all, Ian from Eurogamer here. Now, the last time I covered Dragon's Dogma 2 on this channel, I showed off some fairly general clips of gameplay that were mainly based around the wacky mishaps that befell me as I wandered around Vermont. This video will be much more focused though because, for some reason, even after all of the insane stuff that I got up to the last time I played the game, Capcom still invited me back to play more Dragon's Dogma 2. This time I explored in and around the Beastren Kingdom of Batal, where
Oh, what did that say? Hold on.
This time I explored in and around.
You can grab onto enemies. Okay, it doesn't say anything particularly good. Once you have hold of an enemy, you can push or pull them to draw their focus or knock them off balance. Okay.
Kingdom of Batal, where I got to try out
the video is still too quiet. Let me try to make it louder then.
vocations, the Mystic Spearhand and the Magic Archer, both
Okay.
of which are available only to the Arisen. In this video, I'll be showcasing as many of these vocations' unique weapon skills as I was able to try out during my hands-on time, so that you can see exactly what is possible if you choose to imbue your Arisen with these powers. Goodbye, world! But before I do any of
it should be a little louder now.
To show you this incredible cooking footage that I captured while playing. Set up a tent next to any old campfire that you find, and you'll not only be able to.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it, Arthur.
Skills, but if you have any, you'll be able to grill meat too. Grilling meat will boost your character stats for a certain amount of time, which is great and all.
It's cool that everybody's hyped about the game.
The meat grilling animation that plays out.
I still can't believe that this is real life footage.
I'm not even sure if that is an animation. I think that might actually be real filmed footage of meat grilling. What do you think? Either way, I really shouldn't have edited this video on a fast day, because watching that just made me feel very hungry indeed.
Well, we've eaten our fill. What say we settle our stomachs with a few hours sleep?
Good sleep is the key to a good adventure.
I like the camping feature.
So let's look at the Magic Archer first, who excels in long-range.
It feels very grounded in Dragon's Dogma.
May not be suited to those of you who love clambering all over some of the bigger foes in the game. Instead, you'll want to hang back and deal damage from a distance, and one of the best ways to do this is with the Frost Hunter Bolt, which not only hurts your enemies, but also builds up a freeze effect on them, allowing your close-range pawns to wail on them while they're chilling out.
What was that he cast? What the hell is he casting? So that pawn just placed like a bubble effect here? The warrior... Hold on. I need to see this now back. The fighter comes back here. And now he's glowing red and yellow. So I'm guessing you get buffs if you come over here. I'm guessing that's what that skill does. Very, very interesting. I'm replaying DD1 while watching the stream, so I'm for DD2. Hey man, same. I was playing Dragon's Dogma a lot today. Hey Dark Hero, love your content. I recently started Monster Hunter and your videos helped me a lot. Hey, thank you. I'm very glad that you found my content helpful. That is what I plan to do with Dragon's Dogma 2. Just make a lot of guides that may be helpful to you all. Is health bars going up? I don't think so. It's kind of like 40%. He comes back. It did go up a little bit, yeah. But I don't think that is the red bubble effect. Maybe that's the yellow thing. It's like a heal. But I don't know what the red glow is. Maybe an attack buff? Interesting.
Nighttime in Dragon's Dogma 2 gets dark, like really dark. But
You can talk to your pawns at camp? Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I wonder if, depending on what they have been doing, they'll tell you different things. That Dragon's Plague stuff got me worried for my pawn. Yeah, everything that I've read about the Dragon's Plague sounds very interesting, but we currently don't have a lot of info on it, so it's mostly speculation as of now.
have the Candescent Orb skill selected, you can fire your own personal flares into the environment.
Right, so this skill is just for
Your life and
creating a spot of light at night or in a cave, as I speculated before.
find a way
That
forward.
makes sense.
Don't rely on this one for combat situations.
Just to
as
illuminate
you're about
areas.
to land a hit with it, but for stopping you from falling off a cliff and into deadly deep water, well, it's invaluable.
Materials, eh? I shan't deny. They have their uses.
Kinda like in Tears of the Kingdom in the caves.
I didn't get to use the Ricochet Seeker too much, as it's only really useful when you're in caves due to the way it bounces around. But I wish I could have used it more, because visually, this is one of the coolest skills in the entire game.
Freshly rested as we are.
Oh man, it looks so good. The ricochet arrow.
In the one little area I found
Crazy.
to use it, this attack ricocheted off the walls, and the more it did so, the more it increased in power. So if you fire one of these off in cramped quarters, you'll basically wipe out anything that stands in your way.
Just like in Bitter Black Isle. I remember when Dragon's Dogma had a Berserk crossover, man. It's a shame they had to remove it in Dark Arisen. It's a shame.
Fang arrow was one of my favorite weapon skills.
Though actually, there is a mod that puts back all the crossover items into Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. There's been some modders that have been able to retrieve those items and add them back into the game. So if you go into the Nexus mod, you should be able to find it.
To use for the magic archer because it allowed me to control a magical flame arrow as it flew
Your
through
pawns
the
can
air.
actually hurt you?
Thanks
Oh,
to the
damn.
wide area of effect
That's
caused by
cool.
The arrow's explosion. This skill was great for taking down clusters of airborne enemies like these two harpies here.
Nice.
But it's also really useful for hitting distant enemies or nailing those hard to reach weak spots.
That was a roundabout way to get there.
We are none of us alike in vocation.
One should think we'll be able to counter whatever comes our way.
He just didn't reach the griffin, okay. I was like, that might be a little too far. Oh, okay. See, that's what I was asking before, if you could come here on the zipline. It looks like you can. You have these platforms that you can use to ride. Okay, that is cool. Just drops the ice boulder on the enemy, nice.
The hailstone bolt here seems like a bit of a rubbish skill for an archer. After a lengthy charge time, all it does is fire a big lump of ice in a fairly short arc, which means it's slow and you have to be a lot closer to your target than with the other skills. But don't discount it yet, because the solid damage it does when it hits is super powerful, and it was the only weapon skill I had in my arsenal that allowed me to deal damage to these magic immune golems. Every other attack merely tickled them, but hitting their weak spots with a massive chunk of frozen water absolutely pummeled their health bars.
I've grabbed Polnago's bow!
Just throw an ice rock at them, why not? Yeah, it's good that they're adding these different mechanics to traverse the map. I believe we saw a lot of those ox carts before in some of these previews. Just even more ways to travel throughout the game. Since they don't have fast travel, you're going to be needing those. So it's good that they're adding them. They can push you off the top of the monster depending on what they hit you with. Saw a clip of a dude getting yeeted off a Cyclops because of a pawn's explosion spell. Oh, that's funny. I hope you don't run into those situations very often, but if it happens once in a while, that's totally fine. Now where's our glider suit? Hey, if you play as a mage, you can levitate. At least there's that.
In order for the remedy arrow to work effectively, you'll first need to lock onto your target and then wait until the circular bar completely fills before firing. Nail this though, and as soon as the arrow hits, your pawn will instantly pop up and resume the battle.
Magic Archer is such a cool vocation. It's such a unique concept too. You never see magic combined with the bows in any sort of media, really. It's usually you either have a staff or a wand, or sometimes you have a sword that is magic, but they never do it with the bows. Very cool. Is there no way to play with friends at all? Nope. Sorry to say that, dude. Unfortunately, that is not the case. The event has started, but they're only just loading. Oh, never mind. I am a bit delayed. Hold on, let me put it on the YouTube because Twitch is bugged for some reason. Capcom. Give you a moment here. Okay. This one game that Capcom has shown before that I'm still very iffy on. Kunitsugami. Have you guys heard about this?
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
This game looks very weird.
Action game that will test your strategy skills in a Japanese-inspired setting. The game is set on a mountain covered by defilement. During the day, rescue villagers to work with you. At night, the gates to another world open, and you'll fight to protect the maiden. Repeat this day-night cycle to bring peace to the villages and purify them.
It kind of looks like a combination of...
Fuku, a land blessed by nature, and the goddess
I honestly don't even know.
is suddenly engulfed in a black substance.
Maybe Neo with some...
This defilement transforms the mountain.
Okami vibes?
It steals masks that contain the goddess's powers, making them its own, and threatens the villagers. Soul is the protagonist of the game.
It looks like a
Soul
Warframe.
guides the maiden, Yoshiro. as they use the masks and work with the villagers to
Yoshiro.
purify each village and return the mountain to peace.
They are going to be showing some Dragon's Dogma 2 stuff. They did specify that there was going to be a heavy focus on Dragon's Dogma 2, but they also wanted to showcase this game. I'm guessing they don't have a lot of hype for this game yet, so they're using Dragon's Dogma 2 to advertise this as well.
These gates connect to another world, and the Seethe emerge to steal Yoshiro's power. During the day, you must purify the defilement and guide Yoshiro to the gates, so she can sever the connection to the other world. Villagers who have been purified are given powers through masks and are able to take on a variety of roles as they work with So to fight off the Seethe.
Okay.
Woodcutters excel at close quarters combat.
So it's kind of like an RTS? Nah, no, not even.
Ascetics use
You
spells
recruit
to
some
restrain
characters
the
to go with you?
Seethe. There are many other roles. You can freely place villagers who have been assigned roles.
Like Pikmin?
The carpenter accompanying So.
I'm sorry, I don't want to compare too
contraption
much to
villagers
games, I'm just trying to
help
understand the
fight off
gameplay loop.
Seethe more effectively. During the day, rescue villagers, make repairs, and strategically place villagers to fight off attacks.
Looks too elaborate for my simple mind. I'm kinda getting the same feeling.
The game progresses in real time, and night arrives before you know it. The Seethe that
Ooh.
emerge from the gates at night attack Yoshiro in many different
The designs
forms.
look cool. They're very creepy. They have a very distinct vibe.
So gracefully fights them off with dance-like sword techniques. Join the villagers who have been assigned roles and fight off the Seethe until the sun rises.
Puts down a dome.
Shiva guards contain
Hey, look,
the
he's playing
goddess's
Vayne.
power and give So the ability to launch powerful attacks. Change villager placement
Combat looks a
and
bit
roles in real
basic
time,
for my
even at
liking.
night.
But setting all of this
placement
up
and
can
roles
be
will
very
most effective.
satisfactory.
Where will the villagers fight? And which enemies will So focus on? Constant changes will test your strategy and tactics.
Yeah, that kinda looked like a tower defense type mission. You set all of these guys
Guide
up and then
Yoshiro
you
to the
just
Torii gates as the
try
days
to
and nights
defend and
cycle
kill all of
to
the enemies.
purify the gates and villages of defilement.
All of them cheering in the back.
Amongst the Seethe are the especially fearsome, festering Seethe.
Okay, it is in the
They
highest
pursue
quality.
So and Yoshiro with powerful attacks. Working together with the villagers
Fighting off a
is the key
centipede?
to defeating the festering Seethe. Purify the defilement covering the mountain. What is it that awaits Yoshiro where you guide her? This title will be available.
I'm
in
just here to
Japanese
whack
as well
dragons,
as
griffins,
English,
and goblins.
Chinese, French, and other
Same.
languages.
Honestly, same.
We're excited to share this Japanese-inspired setting and dynamic gameplay with players around the world.
Yeah, the aesthetic is very cool.
Kunitsuga
Very distinct for
Path of
sure.
the Goddess launches on Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series X, S, Windows, PlayStation 5, and Steam.
It is going to be on the Game
Available in
Pass,
2024.
so I will be trying it. because I do have Game Pass for an entire year.
Alright, there you go. There's a first deep dive into
And there's Fighting Cowboy.
It's coming later this year, and it looks really awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited that we finally got to see gameplay. This is something I've had my eye
First
on.
time I've seen him wearing
It's
a
really interesting
suit.
seeing kind of the fusion of both
And not a
strategy
tank
and
top.
action, like setting up your troops for the battle, but then also engaging in the battle and moving them as things progress. Definitely a very unique concept. And of course, we got that very traditional Japanese aesthetic going on with the spirits and whatnot. So really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, super unique, super creative game. With that said, let's get to our next title.
Dragon's Dogma, there it is, baby. Oh man, it's almost here, guys. It's almost here. See, he was fighting that griffin in town.
Hello everyone, my name is Hideaki Itsuno, and I'm the director of Dragon's
The
Dogma 2,
GOAT.
and I'm producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi. Dragon's Dogma 2 launches on March 22nd. Today, we'd like to introduce some of the game's features. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a narrative-driven, open-world, action RPG. set
I
in
still
an immersive
remember when they
fantasy world.
showcased the first trailer.
We hope
I
players
jumped out
feel
of
like
my
they've been
seat.
reborn in this vibrant new world.
Oh, it looks
Join
so
forces
good.
with pawns skilled with various weapons to form a party of up to 4. While this is a single-player game, forming parties will recreate the feel of being on an adventure with friends.
Imagine they
Players will
just
encounter
announced
legendary
co-op.
monsters as they venture through the distinct areas of the game. Some monsters fly through the air with dynamic attacks, while others are more cunning and mysterious. Some appear at night, and others are colossal in nature. They will create a variety of challenges for the player.
I hope this is not a
Test
Zora
your
situation.
decision-making ability and creativity using your vocation and the surrounding environment.
Down he goes.
Of course, you can always choose to run away. If you run somewhere occupied by other characters,
Oh
you
shit,
may
the
end up
griffin
naturally
invades the
joining
town.
forces.
Yep.
But reactions will vary character to character. Some will be frightened, while others will show courage. Their relationship with you, the Arisen, will vary based on the actions you take. That, in turn, will change their relationships with each
Oh.
other.
Straight up picked up a girl,
A variety
okay.
of characters await you on your journey through Dragon's Dogma 2. Over 1,000 characters inhabit the world, each with their own unique stories and motivations. They will sometimes ask for your help, marking the beginning of a new quest. Quests have an array of different objectives, from saving people being attacked by monsters and avoiding detection as you sneak into a location, to locating and delivering valuable items.
Okay.
Ah, I see you desire one of my masterpieces. Very well.
In some situations, combat isn't your only option. One alternative might be to make a counterfeit item.
Forgery.
And see if you can
Forgery
pass it
is
off as
back.
the real thing.
Okay.
The world is a complex web of human relationships, and the player's choices have consequences.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be doing that for the jail key.
We've expanded the world of the original game to make it a denser, more elaborate experience, enabling players to fully inhabit the role of the Arisen. We have several announcements ahead of the release of the game.
Demo?
First,
Did we get a
take
demo?
look at this video.
New video, okay. You can start off as those 4 vocations. Okay. A little preview of the character creator.
Starting today, players
What?
can create and edit their Arisen protagonist and main pawn in the Dragon's Dogma 2 Character Creator and Storage.
What?
Of course, you'll be able to transfer the character data to the full version of the game.
That is cool.
Up to 5 Arisen and 5 pawns can be
That
created.
is so cool. You
This
can
is the
already
perfect
make your
opportunity to
character.
prepare for the adventure before the release of the game. Furthermore, we are planning to have some of the pawns created by specific players as official pawns.
Oh damn.
Players will be
Rurikan!
able to hire up to 2 of these pawns to aid them on their journey.
Oh, that is sick. Official
We will have more
pawns.
details about official
That is
pawns
so
and
sick.
who they will be in the near future. Please watch for updates.
I also saw Maximilian dude and fighting Cowboy.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is now available for pre-order. The standard edition and
Yeah,
the
we
deluxe
just took a
edition
look at
both include
those.
pre-order bonuses. We hope you consider pre-ordering. The March 22nd release date is right around the corner. We here on the Dragon's Dogma 2 team are thrilled for you to experience this game. Thanks for your patience.
Oh man, what a good game. It's very cool what they're doing with the creators. Very, very cool.
Wow, there's so much good stuff in there, lots to dissect. And it looks like people can go ahead and start creating their Arisen and their pawns with the character creator, right, Cowboy?
Yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to. I usually spend my first hour of gameplay just in character creation, so getting that done and ready to go is going to be fantastic.
I'm
Of course, I
smiling
get to
from
create
ear
my
to
own
ear,
official
dude.
Cowboy pawn, so
Yeah, where do we find
your
this
eyes out,
character
it's gonna be
creator?
best
That's what I
ever.
want to know.
Well, we could spend all day talking about the details, but we've actually got a special guest joining us. It's the director of the game, Itsuno-san.
Itsuno-san.
Hello, Itsuno-san. Thank you so much for joining us.
はい、こんにちは。カプコンのitsuno秀明です。今日はよろしくお願いします。
So we're very excited to talk to you about Dragon's Dogma 2 today. We also had the announcement of the official pawns, which is something I'm very excited to be a part of. And pawns are something that are very unique to Dragon's Dogma. So talking about pawns in general, how have they evolved in Dragon's Dogma 2? What can you tell us about them?
まあ前回と比べてポーンすごく
I just messaged Rurikan telling him that his pawn is always going to be in my party and that I hope it's good.
よりプレイヤーが
Or
育て
else
たメインポーンの知識とか
I'm gonna be throwing him off cliffs if he doesn't do a good job.
内容とかが貸し出した先でもより忠実にその経験を他のプレイヤーに伝えたりとかすることができるようになっています。あと今回スペシャリティっていうポーンそれぞれの特別な能力っていうのがあるんですけども、これはポーン1人につき1個だけ習得することができるんですけども、これがちょっと新しくて面白くて、主にプレイヤーがめんどくせえな、これ誰かに代わりにやってくんねえかなっていうことをポーンがやってくれるような特殊能力になってるので、これをどの能力をポーンにつけるか、もしくはどの能力のついてるポーンを借りるかっていうところもすごく、今回面白いかなと思ってます。
Definitely looking forward to that customization. So you've shown off a lot of monsters so far, but thinking about everything you've been able to share, is there one that's really a standout that you can't wait to see players get the chance to go up against?
スフィンクスですね。まず見つけるとこから大変だとは思うんですけども、ゲームプレイ始めたらそういえばスフィンクスっていう話あったなと思いながら、フィールドを冒険してもらえると出会えるかもしれないんで、ぜひスフィンクスと戦ってもらいたいなと、まず喋ってもらいたいなと思います。
Sounds like we're going to have to hunt down that Sphinx. So a little bit of a fun question before we move towards the end here. What would you say is your favorite vocation that you had the chance to play so far?
最近やってるのはソーサラーなんですけども、この前新しく紹介したジョブの、
The Warfarer is his favorite. Okay.
アリズンっていうジョブの中でソーサラーの武器を装備させて近接攻撃系のジョブとソーサラーを混ぜて、戦うっていうのが最終的には楽しかったので、それをお勧めしたいと思います。
Well, I could honestly ask you questions all day about this game, but I know you're busy and I do want to respect your time. So thank you very much for taking the time.
No, man, screw that. Ask him more questions.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye bye.
Well, that about wraps it up for day one of Capcom Highlights 2024. Cowboy, what was your favorite part?
I've been waiting 12 years for a Dragon's Dogma sequel, so as much information as I can get about that, the happier I am. Between the official pawns and the new locales we got a chance to see in the teaser, I'm pretty pumped. I will say though, Kunitsugami definitely looks like a very unique combination of action and strategy, so I'm also looking forward to that.
Yeah, before we wrap up, we do want to say thank you to Itsuno-san for taking the time to speak with us today. We'll be back with day 2 of Capcom Highlights on March 11th, so we hope to see you there. Thanks so much,
March
everybody.
11th, okay. That was a cool preview. Yeah, where the hell will you get the character creator? Are people talking about it
Hey
here?
everyone, and welcome to the post show for Capcom Highlights Day 1. My name's Joe. I'm one of the community
Post
managers
show,
here
okay.
at Capcom USA. Also joined by David.
What
at the
does
end over
that
there, also
entail?
from Capcom USA, and we have some special guests from Japan. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, my name is Ken Mendoza. I'm a promotional producer for Dragon's Dogma 2, and this is
Hideaki Itsuno, director.
Okay, let me do a little bit of YouTube magic. Put this at times 2 speed.
We're here in the office, and we're taking a look at something pretty cool today. Today we're releasing the character creator and storage tool. So this is something that
I think you can
everyone
send the
themselves,
link, yeah.
whatever they want, and they can go ahead and start creating their pawns and their arisen for themselves. So should we go ahead and get into it?
I think so.
And what we're going to start with is, so you can actually create Beastrin in this game. So we are
Okay,
going
that's the
to
character creator.
have a little bit of fun and create a Beastrin based off of a cat.
also might be worth noting that you can create store up to 5 characters there, so you can.
They
create
still
cards
haven't
and
told
choose
us
last minute
where to
which one
get it.
load or use some that you pre-created afterwards. So.
Yeah, and we're going to show the
Let
cat
me
on
do
screen.
this
That's,
real
that's
quick.
Daisy.
Open this up on another window.
She's got like kind of a
Mute this.
もう映ってるでしょこの写真でね。なんでまたこのさ、すんげえやりにくい模様の猫をわざわざ選んでるのか。
So Joe, why would you choose such a complicated cat out of all possible cat options that we have?
She's so cute. I mean, you can see, right?
可愛いけどね。難しい模様だもん。
You chose a really cute cat, but it's a really tough
Scroll
one to
down
produce here.
and
Yeah, well, I
will
think,
be
I think
there.
David is up to the task.
デビッドが自信あるらしいので。
Not on
And
here.
I think that we'll really be able to see the strengths of the power of the character creator. You can do so much with it.
Looks like it's not active yet. This is where it will most likely be.
So right now, David, you're going through the base head options, right? So this
I
kind of
see.
like lays the groundwork for the character that you're going to create.
Essentially, yeah. It's like kind of, you can always affect and
Oh, he's
adjust
trying to
things as you
recreate
need
his
to,
cat.
but, like this kind of gives you like a base for where you can go
Okay.
from. So if you want to like get the eye shape or like the way that like certain features are gonna look, you can go from there. And then like if I want to adjust to match the fur pattern, I can.
Yeah, and you have a lot of options with the fur.
All different types of colors.
The buttons are grayed out. Okay. Character creator looks very in-depth.
As you can see, there are
A lot more than the first one for sure.
Some effort and then some to make sure that
I still don't know if I'm going to be playing as a human or this other race. I forget their name. I still don't know which one I'm going with.
Well, we have too many. No, we need more.
So Itsuno-san, you're on the side of wanting as much as possible, right?
僕は多すぎんじゃねえかっていう。
Nope, I was on the side on this is
They
way
look
too
like a
much.
Snapchat filter.
デザイナーは、いや、このぐらいいりますよ。
Well, the designers were like, no, no, no.
I might
this-
make my main character one of those and then make my pawn, which is the one that's going to be called Dark Hero, and I'll make it a human.
I know that was a focus.
I might go with
to be
that.
able to create Beastrin and Arisen.
But this time we put a lot of effort in this lion-like option that we have for the Beastrin, and I think
I'm curious about the specialization they talked about. I wonder if they're going to be showing it here. If you can change upon specialization in the character creator or define it
Yeah, and you
here.
can adjust like the length of the fur, right?
髪の長さ、毛皮の長さもちょっと変えられるんですよね。
変えられますね。毛の量ね、ほら、すごいですよね。これね。
Exactly, as you can see, you can adjust the length and the amount of fur.
Yeah, so that with introducing the Beastrin here, I mean, what were some of the overall goals with the character creation tools? Obviously, there's so many more options than there were available in the first game.
獣人のキャラクリーに取り入れて、全体的にキャラク
Sorry.
リー自体もドラゴンソマ1からかなりパワーアップしてると思うんですけど、どんなゴールが目的だったんですか？
デビルメイクライね5の時にフォトリアルでどんだけゲームできるかっていうのをやったんで、今回フォトリアルでなおかつキャラクリエイトもできて、しかもフォトリアルの顔ってなかなか作るの難しいんですね。やればやるほどちょっと人間っぽくなく
I
なってく
wonder
る
if we have something new on the Dragon's Dogma
簡
website.
単にフォトリアルのい よくできた顔ができるような
Let's
ってい
see.
うその
Do you have
作り方
anything new
を
on
すご
here?
くこだわって作ってます。選ぶだけでたどり着くような、ね、やり方を
Doesn't look like it.
So with Devil May Cry 5, the team tried to implement photorealism into an action game to
All
be
of this was
natural.
here before, I'm
With
pretty
this game,
sure.
we didn't only want to go a step beyond that and just
They don't have the new
photorealism
video they
also
just
allow the
showed.
player to create your own character in
Okay.
in a photorealistic way. When you try to do that, when you try to go for photorealism and then allow character creation, then when you're editing, often the character will feel unnatural, will have some weird features because you went for photorealism. But we wanted to enable that in a way that felt natural and also intuitive for the user. So that's what we aimed at creating with this character creator.
Yeah, I think personally for myself, anytime I try to make a cool looking character in a game, I'm not very good with the tools. So I usually create something and then I spend an hour on it. I end up not liking it. And then I just go with the default character. So I mean, it's really cool that you.
They tweeted about the character creation thing, but no link or date or anything. Let me see if I can find it.
Character in another game.
めちゃめちゃ僕らとしては嬉しい限りです。
That's exactly what the team wanted to go for. It's great to hear that.
Yeah, and I know in order to kind of.
I'm actually gonna DM the community manager, see if they know.
Can you talk more about that?
そうですね。まあ獣人の顔はスキャンしないんですけど、手作りのやつなんですけども、人間の顔は80人以上スキャンして、まあベースのモデルとして、スキャンしてそれを元に、まあエディターに収録してます。
So for Beastren, of course, we didn't have anyone that we could actually photo scan for.
いないからね、Beastren ね。
we don't have any Beastrens that we could photo scan that would have made things easier. But so the Beastrens are handmade. But for human faces, we scan around 80 faces, and yeah, so that and allow the customizations between this
Let's see if they get back to me.
That you can make for human faces.
The difference between the beast and
They might post it after the stream is done. Possibly.
Trying to make the humans look really realistic. So.
こんな人いないですもんね。
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, we went for photorealism. It looks kind of realistic. However, you don't find anyone that looks quite like this.
You don't see these people every day?
No. To remind everybody, it's a fantasy game.
Oh, it should be available in the hour if you search it on Steam. Okay. Okay. Hey, I just got the response back from the community manager, so that's as official as it gets. Wait an hour and it should be up on Steam. Or even on PlayStation.
白いのから黄色いのまで。
Whitish, yellowish.
Oh yeah, it's.
黒いのもあるもんね。
Yeah, black teeth.
Yeah, the level of detail. There's so much customization.
本当にすごい細かいところまでカスタマイズできますね。
Down to the claws, the color of the claws.
ね、これも爪の色も。
そうなんですよね。いやもう本当にこれはもう本当に。
Probably got that response on copy paste with all the critters asking about it. Possibly, actually. You might be right about that. You might be right about that. I'm going to be refreshing Steam because if they do, if they do release it, I want to have that ready. Oh, sorry.
There's so much
Mega Striker's playing in the background.
Take their time on this, and that's why this is coming before the game's release.
David, how do you feel
shit.
We're getting on Daisy here? I think the color is almost there. You got the hair. I mean, you have to take your own interpretation with the hair. It seems like
at this point, I mean, I'm pretty confident with the pattern and everything, the calico pattern. Not sure how I feel about the body. Like Daisy's kind of a small cat, so maybe keep her kind of tiny, meek.
I know he said that Daisy is kind of a mild-mannered cat, but we're taking a little bit more of a intense interpretation here. So, David, are you kind of just playing around with the tools, or do you have something in mind that you're trying to achieve?
Nothing on Steam so far.
At this point, I'm just trying to make something that looks interesting with the tattoos.
It's a bit weird that these cats have human haircuts.
somewhere where I'm happy.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm used to it because of the Khajiit from Skyrim.
I think we'll leave her.
But I guess the Khajiit are a little bit more... a little less human, I guess.
Options, but I don't know. I think
These ones are straight up human haircuts.
Just the tattoos as the markings.
Vocation. What do we think Daisy is? So she's a pretty shy, nimble.
The specialization should be after this, I think.
Yes.
That's what I was curious about.
Yes.
It also looked like the thief starts with a shield as well.
What's your vocation? So what's your vocation?
I don't. Which one are you guys starting with? I think I'm. Oh, it starts with 2 swords or 2 daggers. Okay.
No, she's
I might go with the thief. I might start thief and then go into mystic not mystic archer. Sorry, mystic spearhand.
A lot of voice options.
These are the voices. Okay.
So again, just a reminder, you can create both 5 characters for the artisan and 5 characters for a main pawn. Right now we're creating what will be Joe's main character, this artisan.
I wonder if that will be your starting armor or if you start naked. That's a good point.
Ready to finalize here?
I'm betting
Do 2 flower names.
on you start off with the basic equipment,
Then you can carry this over.
like just a traveler's outfit or whatever.
5 main pawns in this character creator, and from
I wouldn't
those,
expect to
you'll have
start with that
choose,
equipment.
one artisan
I would
and
much
1 main
rather
pawn that
expect you
want
to go with something like that.
in the actual game.
Just basically naked.
本編やった時にこう読み込まれて出てきますので。
So whatever character has that Dragon's Dogma 2 logo, in this case.
Oh, sorry,
there
didn't mean
will
to
be the
open
character
this.
that will transfer to the main game when you start playing the game.
Got it. Yeah, that's good indicator so that you know exactly which one is set to be ready for the main game.
You'll have up to 5 options to try different things and go with the one you're most satisfied with.
So you just made Daisy.
I'm guessing the community manager has been flooded with responses because they just tweeted out
which you may have seen within
about
the
it,
highlights
and
that
they
we
said exactly
are
the
partnering
same
up with a
thing.
couple of,
Should be up within the
creators and
hour
different friends to
on the usual
have
gaming
their official
platforms.
pawns featured in the game.
I mean, the whole idea behind the official pawns is, can someone...
Well, I'm
someone
gonna wait
explain
for it, and I'm gonna be
how to
making
pick up
mine
a-
on stream.
You know, for me, it's like, oh, I can
If I
use,
can.
this person I usually check out on YouTube or whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
But you know, now that Daisy's in there, would it be okay if you guys made me as a pawn?
Yeah, let's make sure everyone uses Joe as a pawn.
I'm a little scared by that, but
そう言われちゃうとちょっと怖いな。
Let's go ahead and make
David,
Joe.
I'm trusting
You know what I
to-
want? Them giving us the option
no,
to
you should
choose
not
which
trust me.
button prompts to use Xbox versus
And everyone's
PlayStation on
just seen
PC.
a lot of the options.
That is a very good point.
And now everyone...
Capcom did do that on Monster Hunter, so
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have.
there
made
is
that
a
suggestion.
precedent for
I'm a
that.
little worried David might.
They have that option in World.
So Word of
And
Advice
Rise as well.
and,
So I hope that they
base
do
is quite
that.
critical. If there's a specific look,
Oh, they're going to try to recreate
in
that
this
guy.
case, for example, if we want
Okay.
the pawn to look like Joe, then the base face.
If not, well,
the base
you know,
head has
at
to
least we know there will be
resemble Joe as
mods
much
on
as
PC
possible.
for that.
Otherwise, no
But
matter
it
how
should
much
be
you
native.
mess with the parameters, it will be hard to make it look like something we learned the hard way on practicing for this. So yeah, just if there's a specific look you're going for, and it's not working out, maybe try going back to the base set and changing the base set that you're choosing.
And then once you click on the individual face, then it gives you more options.
ここから選択すると、
そこからまたバリエーションが出てくる。
Yes. I'll just like a base idea. And the idea for this system is, well, distilling it 3 times should give you roughly a look that you're going for. And from there, if you want to customize more, you can spend as much time you want customizing.
Lots of hairstyles here.
Hey, Sky, welcome to the stream, dude. How's it going?
Wait, no, wait,
Super
hold on.
excited
Don't
for
make
this.
it a reality, okay?
そこまで現実っぽくしなくてもいいから。
See, do you want to have a mohawk, Joe?
Hold on, let me go just get a haircut. Come back.
Joel will become the strongest pawn now.
And also, once you start the game,
Well, he's got the
fulfilling
creator of the game right there.
actions, you will be
You
able
can
to
make him the
perform,
most overpowered pawn there is.
look of your characters or your pawn. So if when you're going through the character creator, there's someone that there's a specific face that you want to resemble. The advice from Itsuno-san and the development team, I know they went through this, is put a picture of that person.
You still need to finish the first one? Oh man. Such a good game.
We're going kind of blind, but what the viewers should be saying is next to the character creator a photo of Joe, so that they can, at least people can tell how close are we getting to.
ライティングってあるでしょ、ライティング。
So there's an option lighting?
ゲーム中のいろんなライティングの時にどう見えるかっていうのもこう変えられるんで。
That gives you a preview of how the character will look in different settings within the game.
そうそう、ゲームで出てきたら全然印象が違ってたってこともだいぶ少なくなると思います。
So this should reduce the amount of people saying, well, sometimes you're creating a character, it has a specific look, and then you start the game and it looks completely different. This should give you a good idea of how your character will look now when it's in game.
Okay.
All this,
I always like when they give you different lighting options, because sometimes you make the character and it looks nothing like it.
Yeah, I think it really comes through in just the.
I remember that being a problem in Dragon Age Inquisition. The lighting they had for the character creator was terrible. Yeah, being able to toggle the armor is also nice.
本当にこんだけ触るって言いながらね作ってましたね。
Yeah, it was a constant process of, do you really think we need to allow this much customization?
Yeah, I think it's really going to pay off once the community gets their hands on it, and I mean, they'll create so many things.
He doesn't have glasses in here, so
yeah, so we can't add the glasses in the creator.
So yeah, that's the thing. Right now in the character creator, you cannot put glasses into your character, but once you start the game, you will be able to acquire glasses and put them on your character. So yeah, right now I guess we will have to do that.
That is a very detailed character creator. The mouth corner.
Eye color.
God
So I don't
damn.
think you have those eyes.
Yeah, I have brown.
You know I'm about to make an Ana de Armas pawn for people to use. Well, if you do that, I'm sure it's going to be one of the most popular pawns for sure.
Yeah, that's something that also the color of the eyes turns out is pretty critical for a character to look alike or not look alike.
You can change so many options here. So there's like 3 different types of eye color. And you think my eyes look like that?
You can be soulless sometimes. I feel.
I might just do the same as I did in the first game and make my pawn a blue guy with red beard.
Eye style too. I think that looks pretty close to your eyes.
And if you wanted
People are going to be hours. Yeah, they're going to be spending hours upon hours on this. I know I did that with Baldur's Gate, and you barely see your character from, unless you, you know. There are a lot of cutscenes.
If that's the case.
Dirt?
I take it back.
You can add dirt to your character? Okay.
Oh man.
You can make a stinky dude.
That's an average day.
Today's an average day?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate didn't have the best, you're right.
Too nice to
I did add a bunch of mods to make it a little bit better
I'm not
though.
that tall. So
Now, that's the part that I like about Dragon's Dogma character creator.
Everything down. Everything
Can change their size and the muscle.
chicken legs.
Make some goofy dudes.
He needs to eat.
Of course, I can always.
Were you able to hide the helmet in the first one? I don't think so. I know there's a mod that lets you do that, but I don't think you can do it in the actual game.
So what do you feel this redo undo function is pretty useful, right? Because it's not saying it's
Because there were some hideous helmets in the end game.
Clearing these bugs was such a nightmare.
The movement style. This one's pretty important, right?
Movement style?
そうですね。男前やと何やってもかっこいい。
If the character is good looking, no matter what you do.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
I have pretty bad posture.
That looks so goofy.
Doing that gamer posture.
That just reminded me, maybe I'm being recorded.
Yeah, we should sit up a little bit. Okay, David, you could straighten his back out a little bit, okay? That's okay. Too much, yeah. Just keep it.
You can lean back. You can lean back a little bit.
That is such a cool detail.
Looks like
Even the angles of your elbows and waist. What the hell?
guy that you would be scared to find on the street, maybe. According to Isuna-san at least, and yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you want to get scary.
Oh man, look at that build.
Just make Joe as intimidating as possible.
Just the proportions are a little strange there.
ちょっと人間離れしてきたね。
ちょっとバランスが崩れてきた。Yeah, I was striving away from natural look.
From realism.
All right, how are you feeling overall? Are we almost there?
I think I'm almost there. It's the chin that we need to equilibrate.
多分印象変わるもんね、顎でね。
But yeah, the jaw, the chin makes a big difference in the impression that the face gives, doesn't it? やっぱり開発中は開発メンバーでいろんな
Can have a big ass chin.
いやいや、大変でしたよ。ずーっとこれ触ってもらってましたね。
I was asking so.
Let me add some background music since there isn't any on the stream actually. Well, actually, I could do this here.
On the character creator.
ここだけでうまいこと言ってたらいいんじゃなくて、ゲーム中でいろんなその表情をしたりとか演技したりとか。
Rather appropriate, I'll have the character creation song from the first game.
And the biggest effort for the dev team went not just for the character creator to work properly, for the characters to look properly here in the character creator, but then once you create your character here, making sure that throughout all the game events, all the expressions that they make in the game work correctly for all kinds of creations here, that did represent some work for the dev team.
I'm not going to comment on this.
Yeah, we can't tell. You have to comment on this.
Can make body hair too? Okay.
See, do we have like a Blanca-esque orange color?
Are you gonna make a dude or a dudette? I'm probably gonna make my own character, the furry race, and I'll make my pawn a human, probably. I did think about making high tier human or a low tier god as a pawn. I thought that would be funny.
ジョーさんの自己申告で何番の色がいいか言ってもらったらいいんじゃない？
Maybe we should leave it up to Joe. Joe, what color? Leave it wide open for self-declaration of Joe.
No teeth?
No teeth? No teeth?
I don't know.
You cannot. You can remove teeth? Nah, what the hell? What the hell is that?
Oh yeah, we should also match this.
You removed the teeth? What the fuck?
That was Hitsuno-san, by the way. That was the game director suggesting that, so...
Anything can change.
we can knock them out. We can do that right now.
That's up to them. So what colors are your chief?
I don't know. Just leave it at 7.
And chew in on some tar or something.
Yeah, it gets more green and yellow.
Wow.
Leave it at 7.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's after a whitening session.
Can you even change the color of the
Do you have any
teeth?
tattoos, Joe? I don't even know.
I don't, but again, it's a fantasy game.
開発メンバーには日本人ばっかりじゃなくていろんな国の人がいるんで、いろんな国の人の好みを入れてます。
And the Dragon's Dogma 2 development team has people from all over the world, from different countries. So it's not only Japanese people. We asked all people members in the development team, like, what kind of stuff do you like? That is reflected here.
And this is that based off of one of the monsters in the game?
ああ、そうですね。そういうゲームの世界観に合わせたやつが多いですね。
Yes, generally speaking, the tattoos are in a way that
Some
they
goofy
match
ass tattoo.
the environment in the game, in the world. And also for the tattoos, you can replace one by
People
one,
will be making
or
drawn
if
old
you feel
hunchback
more
with no teeth
comfortable,
puns.
We also
Absolutely.
some on the presets, so we definitely encourage people to try the presets too. Yeah, the presets.
Yeah.
And those are already put in a way that I feel that they.
And yeah, it seems like you can get really granular with it if you'd like, but if you're looking for something that's just like a little bit more pre-made, that just looks cool.
本当に細かく一致つけられるし、もう最初からちょっとかっこいい感じで。
Wow.
こだわる人はとことんこだわれるし、パパパってイメージでかっこいいの作りたいのも作りやすい。
Oh wow.
That's a big part of the concept of the character creator. For people that want to put attention to detail, to allow them to modify as many details as we could allow, and but for people that don't want to spend too much time on this,
Those are some big ass tattoos.
in that case, where
I wonder if they have some of the smaller
I
ones.
want to end up with a cool-looking character without spending too much time on it. The team really wanted to enable that too. That's the idea. We want people.
They're making a Florida Joe. Going to be a couple of Smeagol in the Pawn Rift, that's for sure. Is that the pawn they're making, or is it like an
As
Arisen?
soon as the game releases, people will be able to skip the time that they.
Or maybe it's just a character build that you can make, and then you choose if it's for the Arisen or the pawn. You can have the classics card. Ew, what was that?
So one thing, it's not something.
Can I have a burn face?
Get the character creator, get your cool.
If it's the pawn, I want to see the pawn specialization, which I assume is after all
so other
this.
people can say, hey, how did you get that look? What kind of settings did you adjust to get that look? And
I want to see all those options.
with other people until the game comes out.
They only showed one in the demo, in the video, I mean.
How dense the tools are, there's so many things you can do. I think we'll see a lot of cool things.
しかもこうフォトリアルが破綻してないとこが僕はいいなと思ってるんですよ。
And for Itsuno-san, he takes a lot of pride that it still looks photorealistic. So with all these customization options, the end result does look photoreal.
Itsuno-san, are there any characters maybe from your previous games that you're hoping to
Proceed with this change, yes. I thought I saw the options. Go back to that screen.
僕のとかあなたの理想の人、彼女とか。
That man is pushing a lot of buttons on the controller and I'm not seeing it.
彼氏彼女像みたいなのを俺はこういうのが好みだっていうのをこう作ってもらってどんどん上げてもらえるとちょっと嬉しいかも。
Abedin says, Itsuno-san, one thing that would make me happy in Navy would be people creating your ideal significant other.
Yeah, I'm refreshing the Steam page and still nothing.
This is my ideal. Then start posting.
I wonder if you have to pre-order the game to be able to do that, or if it's gonna be like a free demo that you download.
You hashtag the official Grandson accounts.
Because I haven't pre-ordered the game and I wasn't thinking of doing it because, you know.
Before we wrap up, Itsuno-san, can any closing remarks?
ぜひね、皆さんのお持ちのハードでこのキャラクターエディットの体験版をダウンロードしてもらって。
They did not show the pawn specialization.
どれ使おうか発売日ギリギリまで迷っていただけると嬉しいと思います。
So we hope in whatever platform it is that you're playing.
Can confirm it's not that. I already got mine pre-purchased. Got it.
Arisons and all 5 game phones and hesitate until the very
Got it, got it.
Until the game releases, which is gonna be the ones that are gonna release. Yeah, hopefully you have a good time. Hopefully you get a creation that you're so proud of that you want to talk about on social.
The creator said he wants people creating their ideal girlfriend or type. Nice. Oh, there's gonna be people making 2B as well.
For joining us.
For sure.
All the way from Japan. And David, thanks for guiding us through the character creator.
That was too nice.
We're super excited for the game, so we all can't wait to play it. And I'm really excited to just get in there and, I guess I'll have to play as these two characters, right? I'll have my pawn as me and Daisy as my Risen.
どのセーブデータ、キャラクターはここで決められちゃったので、どっちのチームプレイは楽しみにしてたけど、これで遊びます。That's great.
All right. Well, thank you everybody. Thanks for watching Capcom Highlights, and be sure you tune in for day 2 that's happening on March 11th. So we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Alright, I'm guessing we're just waiting for it now. They just finished it. Do we have that video that they showed for... No, so we can rewatch it here. Let's see, where is it? Where does it start? Here. Gonna stop the music for a bit, because I'm gonna be putting this back on. We got a lot of good stuff out of these trailers.
Everyone, my name is Hideaki Itsuno, and I'm the director of Dragon's Dogma 2, and I'm producer Yoshiaki Hirabayashi. Dragon's Dogma 2 launches on March 22nd. Today, we'd like to introduce some of the
Just
game's
permanently
features.
refreshing the Steam page.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is a
I saw one of the
narrative-driven,
pawns against the
open-world,
griffin with a
action
spear instead of a
RPG
twin
set
blade.
in an immersive
See, that's
fantasy
the
world.
thing with the
We hope players feel like they've been
pawns
reborn
only
in this
vocations,
vibrant new
right?
world. Join
Did you
forces
see it
with
in one of
pawns skilled
these
with various weapons
trailers
to form a
from
party of up to 4.
today?
While this is a single-player game, forming parties will recreate
'Cause it might
the
be
feel
one of
being on an
those
adventure with friends.
pawn only vocations
Players
they've
will
been talking
encounter
about
legendary monsters as they venture through the distinct areas of the game.
in the
Some
interviews, I mean.
monsters fly through the air with dynamic attacks.
In this one, okay, I'll be on the
while others are
lookout.
more cunning and mysterious. Some appear at night, and others are colossal in nature. They will create
The village,
a variety
okay.
of challenges for the player. Test your decision-making ability and creativity using your vocation and the surrounding environment. Of course, you can always choose to run away. If you run somewhere occupied by other characters, you may end up naturally joining forces. But reactions will vary character to character.
Oh, was
Some
it
will be
there?
frightened,
He was using a spear.
but reactions
Yeah, he is using a spear. Huh.
will vary.
Maybe the fighter can use a spear? I don't think we've seen all the weapons that the fighter can use. Or maybe it's just a case of vocations for the pawns only. Although I guess this guy is a town's guard, so maybe it doesn't properly
End
count,
up
right?
naturally joining forces. But
Yeah, he has the same armor as... Not this guy, because he is a big NPC, he's an important NPC.
reactions will
But he has the
vary
same armor as these dudes. So maybe that doesn't matter, right?
character to character. Some will be frightened, while others will show courage. Their relationship with you, the Arisen,
Also
will
like
vary
this part here. You're just gonna be able to pay for a round for everybody at the inn. Or at the tavern, it looks like.
based on the actions you take. That, in turn, will change
Oh yeah,
your
and he just
relationships
straight up
with each
picks
other.
one of these women
A
off the
variety of
street for
characters
no
await
reason.
you on your journey through Dragon's Dogma 2. Over 1,000 characters inhabit the world, each with their own unique stories and motivations.
See, they say this in the trailer. But is it really gonna be all that important, or is it gonna be like... I'm a character that likes birds. Would you like to retrieve my bird to me, please? You know? Are they going to be meaningful characters? Probably not. But let's be honest, we probably don't care about it too much.
They will sometimes ask for your help, marking the beginning of a new quest. quests have an array of different objectives, from saving people being attacked by monsters and avoiding detection as you sneak into a location.
We got
to
some
locating
stealth
and delivering
missions.
valuable items.
Ah, I see you desire one of my masterpieces.
See, I'm very interested about
In
that.
some situations, combat isn't your only option. One alternative might be to make a counterfeit item and see if you can pass it off as the real thing. The world is a complex web of human relationships.
See, in Dragon's Dogma 1, there's also the forgery, just like in this one, where you can go up to an NPC and you pay a certain fee, and you can have them make a counterfeit version of that item. And the way you do this is so that you can then use the fake item for the delivery quests and still retain the original to be used wherever you need to. So in this case, you know, you make a fake jail key that you can give to an NPC that asks you for one, but whenever you get caught and get sent to jail, you still have the original jail key. It's also interesting that the jail key is one of the deluxe edition items that you get. So there has to be a way to get one more in the actual game, right? They're not going to make it exclusive to the deluxe edition.
The real thing. The world is a complex.
But
web of
I will be
human
making
relationships, and
the
player's
fake
choices
jail key, since that is required for this mission. And as you can see, it shows you that you have 2 jail keys when in fact one of them is fake, but it counts towards being used as a delivery. You could also do this for a lot of very important things in the game. You could make it so that you could speedrun through some quests, or you could get the idol statues in Dragon's Dogma 1 to get some affinity with some characters as well. There were a lot of very good uses in the first game for this.
have consequences. We've expanded the world of the original game to make it a denser, more elaborate experience, enabling players to fully inhabit the role of the Arisen. We have several announcements ahead of the release of the game. First, take a look at this video.
And that's the character creator that we get to make our own Arisen and our own pawn.
Starting today, players can create and edit their Arisen protagonist and main pawn in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator and storage.
It's so cool that they're letting us do that off the rip.
You'll be able to transfer the character data to the full version of the game. Up to 5 Arisen and 5 pawns.
Do you also get charisma points or something to get through situations via talking?
Before the release of the game.
We're
planning to have
not that I'm aware of.
Created by specific players as official pawns. Players will
let me see all of these creators. I do know Fighting Cowboy. I do know Snuffy and Maximilian as well.
Players as official pawns.
Of course, Rurikan. I don't know any of these.
Players will be able to hire up to 2 of these.
And I don't know any of these 4. And none of these 4.
We will have more details about official pawns and who they will be in the near future. Please watch for updates. Dragon's Dogma 2 is now available for pre-order.
Right, and you get the weapons, the superior weapon quartet as a starter weapon.
We hope you consider pre-ordering.
Again, we still don't know what the Ring of Assurance does. My speculation is that it gives you extra XP, or maybe points to spend on unlocking new skills or vocations. I think that is what would make the most sense. That's, you know, that often happens with these types of pre-order bonuses.
The March 22nd release date is
Ella and Mick are Twitch streamers? Okay, I see.
We here on the
That makes
Dragon's
sense.
Dogma 2 team are thrilled for you to experience this game. Thanks for your patience.
Thanks for your patience. Let me go back here a second. That skill was already in Dragon's Dogma 1 and I loved it, but being able to use it in the air is gonna be even more fun. But this, you make this fog dragon out of the trickster, that is so cool.
Wow, there's so much good stuff in there, lots to dissect. And it looks like
Oh
people can go ahead
man.
and start creating their arisen
And then
their
they
pawns
start
with the
doing the character
creator.
creation. How much time did they spend on that? From the minute 24 to... They spent like 30 minutes making those two. Now there is something here that I do want to see before he finishes making the character.
Itsuno-san, are there any characters maybe from your previous games that you're hoping people create?
He does showcase for like... God damn it. I have to slow this down.
Characters maybe from
Proceed with change, yes.
previous games that you're hoping.
Okay, let me just mute this. Come on. Oh. That's the inclination, not the specialization. Okay. We don't get much there. Much information out of that. Which I was hoping. And this game also looks a bit weird, but I'm interested in it. Again, it'll be available on Game Pass, so I will be checking it out. Downloading the character creator on Steam? Ooh, let me double check. Refresh, downloading. It's downloading! It's 5 gigs? Holy shit. It is downloading. I like that as a separate thing. Thank you for letting me know, by the way. I'm gonna put on the presentation while it's doing the download.
We hope players feel like they've been reborn in this vibrant new world.
Let's do it like this. Thank you, Opera GX, for being a good browser. Not sponsored.
A party of up to 4. While this is a single-player game, forming parties will recreate the feel of being on an adventure with friends. Players will encounter legendary monsters.
And I guess you get to take a look at my library too.
Some monsters fly through the air with dynamic attacks, while others are more cunning and mysterious. Some appear at night, and others
5 gigs for a character creator is very big.
Test your decision-making ability and creativity using your vocation and the surrounding environment. Of course, you can always choose to run away. If you run somewhere occupied by other characters, you may end up naturally joining forces.
It's so cool that the Griffin invades the town.
Some will be frightened, while others will show courage.
And I wonder if they can go even further into the town and start actually destroying buildings and shit.
That, in turn, will change their relationships with each other. A variety of characters await you on your
Take care,
journey
Arthur.
through Dragon's
Thank you
Dogma
for
2.
dropping by, dude.
Over 1,000 characters inhabit the world, each with their own unique stories and motivations. They will sometimes ask for your help, marking the beginning of a new quest. Quests have an array of different objectives, from saving people being attacked by monsters and avoiding detection as you sneak into a location, to locating and delivering valuable items.
Ah, I see you desire one of my masterpieces. Very well.
In some situations, combat isn't your only option. One alternative might be to make a counterfeit item and see if you can pass it off as the real thing. The world is a complex web of human relationships, and the player's choices have consequences.
Well guys, I'm gonna stop the stream here and I will be uploading a video later on the character creator, because I'm getting a little bit tired now. I want to get some water. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you all so much for showing here on the live stream. I will be making tons more Dragon's Dogma content. I'll be probably getting an early copy of the game, so you can expect the same type of guides that you enjoy from Granblue or Monster Hunter. I'll be doing much more than that in Dragon's Dogma, because I've been waiting 12 years to play this game. So, thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I hope you are as excited as I am for Dragon's Dogma 2. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero. Thank you all so much for watching.